Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Brankus Creations, and welcome to this live stream. Hello to everyone who has joined me on this little bit overcast Sunday, sort of still morning here actually. Feels later than that, but that's probably because I've been away for so long. I am going to just do the quick stuff here where I sort of say hello to people. I'm going to say hello to Frank S, hello OA, hello Max Button, hello Thomas Armstrong, Enzo Fitzhume, Jay from the House of Moth, Tev Rudin, Greg Thompson. It comes up in the weirdest order when it comes up in this streaming software that I use, because I know that GT did the first post, yet he's coming up here about 10th down the list. So there we go. Who else we got? Chris FPV, Joe Williams, Apples Anonymous. Is it Real Elaine? PCB Way. Hello there, Elaine. Thank you for joining. Steve from Mac84, Sam Johnson, box full of Australian bugs and plants that want to kill you. The reference to the plants is that Jay just posted a video in our group chat this morning about a guy who came to Australia and inflicted himself with some poisonous plants, and boy, that looked painful. Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack, Roger Salter, DJ Craze, Gut Bomb, Jeff Barnard. I think I've done everyone now. Let me know if I haven't. Feel free to say hi. I have got a bunch of things to do today. I mean, I do basically have a box of SE30s, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that people are going to be a bit bored of seeing SE30s, so we'll just see what we're doing. I mean, the first thing I need to do is finish off the recapping I did in the last live stream, because I had run out of capacitors. Well, I have since had a capacitor delivery of new axial capacitors. These are the ones where the pins come out both sides, and obviously all of these old ones, they have them. So we've got this one here, and we got this one here, and so we're going to have to replace those. So it came as a bit of a shock when I went to go do that recap, and I went to go grab that, and I had none left. Too many boxes of stuff in the way of... Oh, look what's happened to the sign. It's off. I wonder if that's the thing that was making that smell, that plastic melted smell. Look at that. Oh. It could, of course, just come unplugged. That's the most likely cause. But yeah, look at it. It's not happy, is it? There's the wire. Let's see. This is the first repair we have to get sorted out. Is that it? No, that's not it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Oh, it's not plugged in. That's why. It's not plugged in. World in crisis. Yeah, we're in business. My apologies that it's still crooked. That's because the cable isn't really long enough. I probably need to get a little extension lead or something like that. Oh, normality is restored. So much better. Obsidian Xenon, hello. It hasn't been happy in the last... I didn't even notice. So, yeah, for all of the people that do struggle with things being a little bit off kilter, I do apologise for that. And I will resolve it one day. But I have this power board under here with a whole bunch of things connected to it, and it's not long enough, so, yeah. Chris Angelis, hello there. Now I feel like I drink, yeah. It's still a little bit early for me. I'm going to wait until... Ooh, yeah, I mean... I don't know, maybe sort of 6 o'clock. 6 p.m. is generally where I sort of say, yep, green light. Exciting night last night for anyone who is interested in the game of soccer. The Women's World Cup is currently being played here in Australia and New Zealand. And last night, the Australian team got through to the semi-final. Oh, they won the quarter-final, so... Yeah, nice. Having a good Sunday morning. I am having a good Sunday morning. I just had a nice big bowl of breakfast cereal, feeling full of fibre and ready to take on the world. Jack68K, hello there. I imagine it's probably drinking time for a lot of you guys. So, you know, you do it. I mean, you do know that these streams that I do get better when you drink. You do know that, don't you? That's just standard. I released a video recently. I hope you've all had a chance to watch it. I did have a lot of fun making it. That was restoring a Quadra 840 AV. Another big thanks to Jeff for donating that to the channel. I had pretty much given up of ever getting a Quadra 840 AV because the prices had just gone so silly on the things. I just thought that my best chance is I'll get one that's in pieces or something like that no one else wants. So to have got one that I was able to get up and running again, and of course the added bonus of it having a SCSI jackhammer and a Radius Video Vision display card in it, or capture card. It is a display card, but it's a lousy display card. I mean, it's not particularly good, and there is something wrong with it. When I try and do millions of colours, the screen goes all. But anyhow, I was able to do the video capture, and that in itself was that was an amazing feeling. For me, the final, whatever it is, 90 seconds is one of the most wonderful things about the video from my perspective, because I just loved doing that. I loved filming this stuff and then capturing it onto the Quadra 840 AV, and then the very painful process of editing it in Premiere. I mean, things that you just sort of take for granted, like if you're wanting to preview a scene, the little playhead doesn't move along with what you're playing. So if you want to make an edit at a particular location, you're trying to figure out where that location is on the playhead. It's just an absolute nightmare. I mean, if you're on Final Cut Pro or something like that, you play the video and the playhead's just moving across to where you are on the thing, and you go, that's the spot there. You stop it, and then the playhead sits at that location. Not so with Premiere. Absolute nightmare. But anyhow, I'm sure modern Premiere is a lot better because Premiere is, of course, still around. It's drinking time for 8 hours. It's been drinking time for 8 hours here. Fair enough. Yes, good. The packing job, the guy who sent that to you did with the Quadra. Yeah, I mean, so I basically paid him for the delivery. Well, actually, I organised the delivery, so from my end, but I gave him some money to pay for the packing materials. So, and he said, I bought a can of expanding foam if you don't mind paying for that. I said, of course. So I shot some money across to him for that. So I knew it was going to come with expanding foam. An interesting thing is someone wrote in the comments of that video, they said, could you use this packing material to pack a 3D printer? And I thought, that's a really abstract question that's out there. And what I would sort of say is, the main thing about that expanding foam, here's what I would probably do if I was going to use expanding foam. I would probably use like a plastic bag and fill that with expanding foam. So in other words, get a plastic garbage bag and lay it over top of whatever you're packing, and then put the expanding foam into the bag so that it expands, and it expands inside the plastic bag. So that's the seal up against the foam, because the biggest issue I had is that expanding foam is incredibly adhesive. So it just stuck to that cardboard. So it, instead of being a box filled with expanding foam, it just became a solid lump of expanding foam. And that was quite... If it didn't have those open sections in the side, I'd have been stuffed. They were the point where I could actually get some decent purchase and yank them apart. I would have probably had to stop filming and get some more, dangerous tools. Okay. I'm in the middle of doing a review for a 3D printer at the moment. It's a thing called a Creality K1. I did have some hardware issues with that. They have sent me a replacement part that is up and running again. So I'll be able to continue on that. I am also working on my next Beginner's Guide to Soldering video, which I'm hoping to have out very soon. And this will be part 3 in my series. I expect there will probably be a part 4. Oh, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. There will definitely be a part 4, but there may even be a part 5 as well. We'll just wait and see how we go. And I may even go in and redo my first one, because it's many years since I did that Beginner's Guide to Soldering, and it's had 1.3 million views, so it's not like it's unpopular, but it was one of my very early videos, and I look back at it a bit now. I think, oh, geez, I could have done that better. And I cough all the way through it. I had a frog in my throat that day, and These days, if that had happened, I would have gone in and re-recorded it. But back then, I was like, that you needed to take exercise on that day. I was hamming it up a little bit, just a little bit. I was giving some effect for the camera. So, it was exhausting, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't quite as exhausting as I was making out. Got to make it entertaining. Someone's told me I should be releasing that as a TikTok, the unpacking part. All right, well, I have chatted. Before I do, I just do want to mention my shirt. I hope everyone likes my shirt. I hope people like the shirts that I wear in my live streams and my videos. I do wear some wacky shirts from time to time, and I get all of these from a company called QWERTE, QWERTE. And there is a link in the description where you can actually get, there's a discount code if you want to order shirts from them. I have nothing but good things to say about them. I have ordered from them, I think, 3 times now, and the service is incredibly good. So I just want to show you very quickly. We'll just jump across, and if I can just find my... Sorry, I've got things blocking my screen at the moment. It's making it a little bit difficult. I'm just going to jump across here. And we are just going to very, very quickly do this. There we go. So this is the QWERTE website here, with some of the T-shirts they have. I mean, things like, this Barbenheimer. I mean, I love that sort of stuff. And of course, I really love the kind of esoteric movie reference ones. Yeah, I mean, look at this. I'm this old. I love that with those. I mean, admittedly, that's a PC thing. It should be ADB ports for us. Yeah, I mean, things like I've got this shirt here, this USCSS Nostromo. Of course, that's a nice little esoteric reference to what's the Alien movie, and I just love that sort of stuff. I love the little sort of esoteric references and stuff. There's a Don't Panic reference. I assume that is a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, one of my sort of favourite shows. That was great. I love this one too. Look at this. Procrastinators unite tomorrow. Anyhow, all right, let's go back to the pictures. Right, so anyhow, feel free to check it out. As I say, there is a link in the description where you can go to the website, and if you order a T-shirt, you get, I think, $1 or €1 or £1 off, which depending which country you're in. And as I say, and they do them on Gildan T-shirts. We've all heard of Gildan, we know that. So it's a quality shirt underneath the print. So yeah. Anyhow, all of my shirts, all of the shirts that I wear in my streams and stuff, they're all from QWERTE. Okay, so once again, hello to anyone who's watching this on the replay. Thank you for joining. I obviously say hello to the people that are watching it live, but for those people that are watching on the replay, I do like to give them a shout out as well. So the first thing I'm going to do today is, so I'm not going to clean up, that's for sure. Let's just get this, we'll go to our top view here. So here we've got our lovely little capacitors, and what I'm actually going to do, I mean, it's unnecessary, but I am going to do this. The SE30 board that I was working on the other day, I have no idea where it is. Probably up here somewhere. I was going to have to clean it, so where'd I put it? Here it is. No, that's not it. That's my SE30. You know, the one. So it was there. Is it just on this table? It could just be on this desk somewhere. You know what? I'll find it. Don't worry. Never lost a board yet. No. It can't be that far away. I mean, what did I do? I was working on it, and then the most logical thing would be, Okay. So this is the board that I was working on the other day in my live stream, and I replaced this capacitor here, and then realised I didn't have one of those. Now, because these new ones I've got are blue, I don't want them to be mismatching. To me, that just sort of seems, that's bad, don't you reckon? Forgetting where you put stuff. You don't know the half of it, GT. Seriously. Here, what? Actually, that's I can actually still hear quite well. That's about the only part of me that still works. Rudy, hello there. Missed the first couple of minutes. Don't worry, we were just killing time till you got here, Paul. So don't worry about it. All right, now fail core. Fail core. Is it? I feel like this is one that I've got wrong in the past. It's fail core. Was it fale core? Fale core? I'm pretty sure it's just fail core, but I just got to be careful because I get so many things wrong when I'm reading some of these things out. Remember old Lando's hair? Where's Dana? When he used to come on in the chat as Londo's hair, and we used to all call him Lando's hair. Never mind. All right, so I'm going to get one of these caps, and I'm going to get one of these caps. Yeah, cool. Fail core. Fail core. What's the reference to fail core? Fail core? Is there a reference to something? Is it a pop culture reference that I'm not aware of? Now, this is the little pin bender thingy that I was talking about that I made, and I sort of refined it a little, so I'm hoping it'll be fine. So I've got to find out which size. It's this size here that I need, and then I can put this in here like that. I like to have it with the rating and everything facing upwards. Then I can just hold that there and just bend these pins down. And they will be the perfect width for these holes. How cool is that? Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool. All the young people are saying I'm cool. They say that all the time. You know it. Falcor the Luck Dragon. Oh no, that's another name that I've struggled with and I've forgotten already. Oh man, you're going to have to help me out here. To name who starts with A and then surname of Rain, because I know you've told me how to pronounce your name before and I've forgotten it. I've forgotten it already. I'm sorry. I think Lewis Rossman is about to adopt more cats. It's the only reason people watch him anymore, isn't it? Aoife, that's it. Man, I tell you what, I'm going to have to try and find some way of remembering that. I don't know. I've got to... Because you've told me before. I remember you telling me. I just didn't remember what you told me. Old person's disease. Oh dear. Now, in my defence, I've had a pretty shocking memory all my life, so I'm not sure I can specifically blame it on old age. When I've done like things like IQ tests and stuff like that, I always absolutely smash it on the logic stuff. And then when they do the memory test, where you have a whole bunch of things, and then they take them away, and you've got to remember what order they're in. I always go shit at those. Okay, let's put some solder on the pins. Just like that. Right. Whoopsie. And then I'm going to remove this one. It seems so wasteful, I know. But it's got to look good. Hester. Oh man, this is right on a big fat ground plane. I'm going to just cut it. Just going to snip it. Snip it. It really is getting bad here, isn't it, mess-wise? Poof. Poof. I mean, damn. I've got to find my snippers. Have they fallen on the floor? Everything is destined to be on the floor in this thing. It's like, I predict your future, you will end up on the floor. Oh, some solder wick down there. And I've got the wrong glasses now for trying to find snippers. I mean, I use them so much, they can't be that far away. And I do also sometimes tidy things away, and I go, where is it? Oh, look at that, I put it away. Oh, look at that, super chat. How's the moth? There we go. I just got to put that up on there. There we go. Thank you very much for that. Yes, I know. Will I do it? Will I do it? Shall I do it? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Watch me.
Smash that like button.
This software doesn't give you the... Well, it never used to give you the ability. Maybe it does now. I should check that. But it doesn't give you the ability to... what do you call it? To make it so that it goes back to the last view when you play something like that. But it does give you the option to decide which view you want to go to at the end, and I have it go back to that view. I'm still no further. Let's get this out of the way for starters. This is a Quadra 840 AV power supply that you may have seen me working on, and this is the resistor that kind of got a bit baked, and I'm sure it is reading wrong. I mean, I'm sure it's reading wrong, but I really need to get some confirmation before. And I do think I have most of the caps to replace this now. I didn't when I started working on it, but I'm pretty sure I have most of them now. So I might actually be able to get that one working again. That would be good. This is one of my failed ultrasonic cleaner modules. This one has died, and I can tell you it is what has died is this thing right here. This transformer has died. So basically what ended up happening with this, I have a fan here, and this fan stuffed up, and so this thing ended up overheating. And yeah, it's not ideal. In my video about making a laundry sink ultrasonic cleaner, one of the most common things people were saying is, oh, when you've got the lid on this, you've got no airflow. So, you know, what good is the fan if the air doesn't go anywhere? And this is something in my follow-up video that I will be revealing to people, is this. This is actually open at the bottom, and the board is mounted a few mils above that, and then there is a little sort of stopper here, like a line there, to reduce the airflow. So the idea is that when this is in place, this blows and it pulls air up underneath here, and then up over the top, and then out from the fan. So it's theoretically pulling air across the board. So that's how that one works. But anyhow, this one died. I really deserve what has happened to it, because I heard the fan going, and then I stopped the fan and started it, and then it started spinning properly, and then I went away and left it, and of course it clearly was not good. So I should not have just gone away and left it. I probably should have switched that one off, switched that module off, not used it, and then replaced the fan, and then I would still have a working unit. So I'm going to have to buy a new one to replace it. I found the snippers, by the way. I just thought I should let everyone know that. I just saw them. I caught a glimpse of them just there. So let's snip and snoop. Nothing wrong with the cap, but we just like things to match, don't we? The connector on that dead UFC part is the same as many 70s and 80s Japanese vehicles multiple times. There you go. A few mils. You need to. You got metric's great. Metric's great. Everyone loves metric. Don't forget, NASA's using metric. Even they like it. Right, so this is my pin bendery thingy. And so we've got that bent for that spot there. Now I just need to whip the old pins out, and I'm going to do that under the microscope so you'll be able to see it properly. So I'm going to put my normal glasses on rather than my special glasses. Incidentally, I was able to find out which component had failed on that ultrasonic driver using this. This is my thermal camera. Did a review on this recently. These are just ridiculously useful things to have around. I know that the cost of these is probably like, well, you know, I can't really justify that, and I can understand that. But, you know, if you have, you know, a single use for these, once you have one, you end up using them for all sorts of stuff. And with that ultrasonic driver, I was able to switch it on. I was able to point this at the driver, and I could just see a little spot of heat in that transformer. And of course, you shouldn't have a single spot of heat on the transformer. So I was able to look at that just and go, yep, that transformer's failed. I'd say that the coil wrap around, I'd say it's heated to a point where the coating, that enamel coating on it, has melted and meant that the coil is actually making contact inside. 14 years and still speak metric. I'll never understand that imperial garbage. Yeah. It's not very logical. But I suppose it all comes down to what you're used to. I still do. There we go. I still do feet and inches for height because that's what I grew up with. Over here, like if you say, "Oh, how tall are you?" and I go, "Oh, I'm, 170 centimeters." It's like, what's that? I might get it eventually, but everything else are metricated with. They're metricated with weight. I tell you one thing. There are a couple of things here in Australia where we've been metricated since 1966, where we are still using imperial measurements for things. First of all, is a lot of the time TV screens are still being measured in the diagonal inches. Why don't I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. How do I do this? I'll go. No. I'm going to go that one. And then I'm going to go that one. Did that work? No, that's not right. That one. And that one? No. I don't know how to get rid of this one. How to get rid of that one? That one. I think we're going to be stuck with the black one for the moment. I got no idea how to get. Do I do that? There we go. Got it. Everything's fine. So yeah, the 5% repairs, 50% to take funny cat pics, 80% to detect hot cold drafts. So there's TV screens are often measured in inches diagonally. So we've still got that going here. Some of them are in centimeters these days, but a lot of them are still using the inches. What's the other one? When we talk about component sizes, even though there is a metric scale for that, we are still pretty much using the inches. So if we're talking about a component that's like a 1208 or something like that, that's, was it 1206? I can't remember. Whatever it is, we're still using inches for that. And the other one, of course, is dots per inch. We still use dots per inch, even though in Europe they work in dots per centimetre. We still do dots per inch here. Tweezers will be easier than pliers for this one. There we go. So, component sizes. Is that not what I said? Did I say something else? Did I say something weird? It is extremely possible. Right, so I'm going to wick out the solder from these little holes here. One of these will be very easy. The other one is likely to be a little bit harder. So this one should be easy because I can get nice heat to there. There we go, nice and empty. He's good. This one here, because he's on a ground plane, I may struggle to get the heat through to this one, so I may not be able to get this one empty as easily. We'll just hope for the best. Yep, my prediction was correct. Try it from the other side. Boop-a-doop. Oh, that's looking good. Yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah, look at that. Right. Back to top view. I still haven't put the camera back here for the side view, so we'll just have to do without that today. So my apologies for that. I've been working on video production up in the house, and I've had both cameras there. I can bring that camera down here now. It's just been pure laziness. Pure laziness. I've got a 3D printer sitting on my dining room table at the moment. I'm not sure how much longer I'll be able to get away with that before I get the little gentle tap on the shoulder of, when's the 3D printer getting taken off the dining room table? And that will be the point where I have to do something about it. Right, so that's facing the right way. That's positive on that side, so negative that way. one thing I am going to do today is I'm going to move that 3D printer off the dining room table, but I'm then going to put another one in its place. So I'm going to swap it. Yeah, it's certainly that stuff with building materials and timber and stuff like that. Even though a lot of them are in this country, we're measuring them in millimeters. Some of them are really weird sizes because they are just hangovers from inches. But and of course, when you go by a ruler, if you go by a ruler, they're all 30 centimeters long. I mean, yes, you can get bigger ones. You can get. I've got a 50 centimeter ruler, but the standard size for a ruler is 30 centimeters, which is a foot. So it's a foot long ruler. I mean, if it's for metric, we should be using like a 25 centimeter ruler. But yeah. He's coming in and asking for measurements in binary. Okay, so that one is finished. We did test in the last live stream, so confident that one will be fine. So, yippee! Right, now, what we're going to move on to next, this is the question. I've got a few things here. One of them is I do have a battery-bombed SE30, and I wouldn't mind just giving it a quick inspection. I'm not necessarily going to work on it today, but I would like to have a quick look at it just to see how bad it is and whether it's worth... Oh, shit. Whether it's worth fixing. So let's just have a quick look now under the scope and see what it is like. So, right. So up here in the area, this is not battery bomb. This is basically just corrosion from leaky capacitors. And this is up in that row of U8 chips. So that's, you know, UA8, UB8, UC8, UD8, UE8, UG8, EFG8. All of those 8s. And you can see quite a lot of greenness here. I definitely think that this one I will ultrasonically clean before I decide if I'm going to do anything with it, because I want to see just how many things fall off. I have replacements of all of these chips, so I'm not too concerned about those, but it's more just to do whether those traces... I mean, look at this. Oh, it cleans up all right. What about this one? Oh, it cleans up all right. A little bit of a nit, you know, little... No, what's the word? Cut out? Little niche? Okay, all right. Yeah, okay. I don't imagine it's going to work. Oh, look at that. Oh, Max. Right, and that's not even the bad bit, by the way. All right. So, this is the region which I've spent many hours. Max. Okay, so what can we say with a fair degree of certainty? I'd say that most of these would have to be replaced. That, I think, would probably have to be replaced. I've got a feeling that those pins are just ready to fall off. That's okay. This has been washed, by the way. At some stage, someone has had a go at washing this. You can kind of tell from this whiteness that happens around the outside. And that's what you generally get, the build-up you get from the stuff in water. So just tap water, normal tap water, you know, often end up with this sort of white around the outside. But you can see here from all this, like, this smeariness here, that someone has actually washed this. We've lost the clock thingy. That's no problem. I've got plenty of those. Ooh, look at the lumpies. This is the real-time clock chip. I've got replacements of those. The diodes there, I've got replacements of those. Battery holder is gone. I've got replacements of those. But we are talking about, you know, that's gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, you know, you guys have seen my video. Oh, well, you may not have. If you haven't, maybe you should. But I did 4 or 5 live streams of repairing an SE30 with this sort of damage. Still not fixed. My general instinct with something like this is this is something that can become like a hobby, a project, or you could potentially buy it. Washed it with IPA. It was much worse before. Okay, cool. This is that bad SE30. Yes, it is. It is yours. Yes, it is. And I would say that, yeah, this is the sort of like hobbyist board. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I've got a few spare hours today. I'm going to sit here and repair a few traces, and you'd be looking at, you know, probably 40 maybe trace repairs for a job like this. You're definitely looking at probably 8+ hours work, maybe more. I will ultrasonically clean it, so because that'll give us an indication of just how bad it is. But my first thought is that I'm just not sure, especially for someone who has quite a few SE30s. I'm really not sure this would be worth it. You can maybe hang on to this, keep it for parts for a one of those reloaded boards. You know, the one that Bowl sells. I think it's Bowl. Bowl sells the blue SE30 reloaded boards. I think you can buy them. You might be able to buy them in Australia from Juicy Crumb Systems. I'm not sure. I need to check. So anyhow. Yeah, my first thought is that I just don't really see this as being a feasible repair. I think it would just end up costing way too much. So, candidate for a reloaded board. Definitely think it's a candidate for a reloaded board. You got some RAM on here, which is nice. You got 4 1 megabyte sims, so that's good. And obviously you got a ROM sim. I think that's okay. You know, there's probably a lot still salvageable on this board. There are some parts here that are pretty hard to get hold of, things like the sound chips and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my general thinking. Okay, now the next thing I need to do today, this is a practical thing, so I'm just going to change to the top view while I do this. Other 3 boards should be good. Yeah, I've got another one of them here, and it looks okay. One of them was dusty. I'll tell you what, one of the boards that you sent over was just so dusty. I didn't bring that one down with me. So here's one of the good ones. Interestingly enough, I don't know if it's to do with the batteries that were being used for these boards, but I have found a lot more battery-bombed boards with the soldered-in chip rather than the one in the socket. So my guess is the batteries they were using during this stage of the production. See you later. My feeling is that at this stage of production, whatever battery they were using were probably more susceptible to this explosiveness, because most of the boards that I'm doing that have this sort of battery damage are these later boards. So yeah, it's all right. Don't worry about it. I mean, you know, that dust, I'll just blow it off with a and then of course it'll get the full treatment in the ultrasonic. I wouldn't drop it in the ultrasonic the way it looks at the moment, because you just end up with too much dust in there. But so I'll get all the dust off and then I'll pop it in. You been getting all of these with the RAM on them, Max? These, I mean, this one's loaded with RAM as well. Oh man, or is it? I think they might be 256s. Let me just check. I think these are big 256s. These are ones, I'm sure of it. But I think these ones at the back here actually might be just really big 256s. So this has probably got 4.5 megs of RAM in it. Would be, oh no, 5. Sorry. I mean, I could be wrong. Someone might want to go and look that up. I don't know if they can see the codes there. Focus. There we go. TMS4C1024DJ. 1024. They may well be 1 megabyte sims, but I rarely see 1 megabyte sims of 120 nanoseconds. That -12 means these are a 120 nanosecond, and I don't normally see that. Normally, when you get to 1 megabytes, they are 100 nanoseconds or faster, more likely 80 or something like that. So yeah, just really curious. That I think that might be a big 256K sim, but I could be wrong. Righty, but this one, it really doesn't look too bad. I mean, this is the danger zone around here where we have all of the ugliness usually, and it doesn't look half bad at all. So, not really much of an issue. I suspect this one probably works. That would be my thinking. I would think you could just fire this one straight up, but of course we do need to fix it anyway. ZX project. Who is doing a ZX project? ZX Spectrum clone and an A600 clone. Here we go. Yeah. Just looking at the chat. Also, oh, Mystery Margo, hello there. My apologies for not saying hello. Bye, Mrs. Brankus. Mrs. Brankus is going out to lunch today, so that was me just saying goodbye to her as she headed out. Colin from This Does Not Computers here. Hello there. Do you know of a source for socketed 68030 CPU? So as in this sort of CPU? There was a time when I used to be able to get hold of them reasonably easily. I did find some on AliExpress once. But of course, you always take a bit of a risk with AliExpress with those sorts of things. I'm just going to have a quick look on my other source and see if there are any there. So just bear with me a sec. Just go on to... I've forgotten what they're called. Yeah, that's right. They're actually asking me if I was interested in a sponsorship with these guys. And I thought, yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. Congratulations on getting that... what was the computer? It was the Daystar, whatever it was, Genesis, up and running. I watched that last video, and I tell you what, as you were working your way along those four little things on the end of the board, and that one wobbled, I thought to myself, if that had happened to me, I would be so angry with myself that I hadn't found that sooner. And I could see you beating yourself up about that at the end of the video. If people haven't seen it, go check it out. Not now, later when I'm finished. Go and check out Colin's video on the Daystar Genesis and the fun and games he had trying to get that thing up and running. Okay, so just going to have a quick look here. Yeah, okay, look there. Oh, whoa. No, that's not right. Someone here is charging an obscene amount of money. Let's have a look. 68030 RC16. RC16. We can see. No prices listed on them. When there's no price listed on them, it means they probably don't have them. Bugger. Okay, so one of the places I generally try for that sort of stuff is UT Source. Now, they don't have any of the 16s. You could stick a faster one on, because it's not going to, it'll still work. If you stick a 33 megahertz one onto this, it will still work. It'll only run at 16. So let's try RC33. Let's try that. Might have a better chance finding a 33 megahertz. Got to make sure I don't say gigahertz. Get mixed up with that all the time. Okay. Oh, look, I have found a place that has them, but they are $24 each. So I don't know, let me just jump across. I'll just show this quickly so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the website I'm on. This is a website called UT Source. I've used these guys a lot for getting hold of old components. Now, often when you do searches for things, you'll end up sometimes with entries like this, where they say stock 33,930, and they have no price listed. Ignore those ones. They don't have them. If you contact them and ask them for a quote, that you will end up on their list, and you will be getting emails from them for eternity. And usually these things result in them going away and having a look and saying, sorry, we don't have any, even though they say here stock 33,930. They don't have any. Trust me, they don't have any. So here's one here, and so this is on the UT Source website. I've just done a search for MC68030RC33. It should still work. Well, look, put it this way. It certainly works with the Oh, yeah, no, it definitely does. It definitely does. I have, because I know I've done it with like the FPU chips all the time, the floating point unit chips. This is a 16, and I put 40s in their place, and they work fine. They just run at the slower speed. So my suggestion would be on UT Source, as I say, I've just done a search for MC6803RC33C, found these ones here for 23, 24 US dollars. These guys basically, generally, if you get a chip and it's no good, you can get a refund, but it will still work out to be an expensive exercise should you go down that path. But anyhow, I don't know how many you need, but there's that. What we could also do is just do a quick search for this and see if we can. Let's go to shopping. See if it comes up anywhere. Nope. Okay, no one. Maybe AliExpress might have them. But anyhow, that would be my recommendation. You're probably not going to find a 16, but you might find a 33. So anyhow, let's switch that back to camera view now. I hope that has helped. That one has 39,939 in stock. No, it doesn't. All right, okay, so what was it? Oh, that's right. I was going to start working on the next thing. Now, the next thing is I've been working on a black and white classic, a Mac classic, and I've been doing this one for a customer. Analog board, logic board done. This one is now running beautifully, which we like. We like classics that have been restored, because they are made from such crap components that you do need to replace those. Ugh, got some flux on the table. I hope it's flux. You do need to replace. You get onto these quick smart if you want any chance of keeping these alive for any length of time. But anyhow, this is a Macintosh Classic, and it has had the logic board done. It has had the analog board done. The hard drive still works, interestingly enough. Now, I've had an interesting request from this guy. He said, can you install a Blue SCSI and keep the original hard drive in there? I said, I absolutely can. But I've now got to just work out where I'm going to put it. I've got to make a different cable that will have an extra plug on it. But I have to work out where I'm going to mount it. So I'm probably going to end up 3D printing something. And I might make it so that it piggybacks onto these screws here or something like that. But I've just got, or maybe something that clips in, because we've got these little metal finny bits here. I might make something that clips in over that and then just sits under here, something like that. But anyhow, that's not what we're doing today. No, sir. What we are doing is the good old floppy drive servicing, which we have to do for all of these because of our cheese gear. This is a term I came up with a while ago. And the reason I came up with it is because there is a gear inside the floppy eject mechanism of these which has the consistency of cheese when it gets old. And while a few people have actually said, well, how come this one, it happens to this one and not to other ones? That's my board. His board's somewhere else. That's my board. Now, the reason why it happens to only one cog and not others is because that cog was specifically designed as a fail-safe. Because if something jams on that eject mechanism, the motor will burn out. And the motor is a hell of a lot more expensive to replace than a cog. So they actually made them with a deliberately weaker gear. But that plastic, that weaker plastic, gets very, very soft with age. So, yeah. Anyhow, I'm just taking out the ASSI, the floppy hard drive assembly here, so that we can get to the floppy drive at the bottom. And I've got to put these screws somewhere where I won't lose them. So I'll put them in a plastic bag, because no one ever loses anything once it's been put into a plastic bag, do they? Nope. There we go. See, they have a real sense of belonging now. Okay. I should actually write the job number, because all of these computers have a job number. And I know it's hard to believe in amidst all this mess, but they do all have a job number. Now, just thinking I might take this off while I remove this, just to be a little bit safer. And then I'll pop that back on. Right, and let's put this away. Away with you, because we don't have room for that on the table. Back in a second. I'm going out of camera shot, but not out of voice range. I hope everyone's enjoying the new audio, the new microphone. I feel a little bit silly wearing this thing, but there is absolutely no arguing with the audio quality when your microphone is so close to your mouth. Right, so here it is. Look, this has had some liquid on it at some stage. The old hard drive here, what have we got? We've got a... and it's a Quantum. I can definitely tell it's a Quantum. Got a sticker there that says hard disk 40SC, but that sticker I would normally expect on the drive. Quantum 1989. I'm guessing it's a 40 megabyte. Plastic bag with a post-it note label inside. Now that you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something wacky, and I'm actually going to write the job number on it. It'll make me feel better. Okay, so what do we got here? Classic. Oh, that's not how you spell classic. It's only one L. Right, now, whose was this one? Okay, that's not in progress. No, not that one. Recapping analog. I think it's this one. Let me just check. Oh, no. No. Yeah, that's the one. I'm sure of it. Let me just check the photo from the front. Maybe not sure of it. I'm half sure of it. I'm going to have to read the serial number, and that involves taking it out. Don't want to take it out. Dana is here. Hello there, Dana. My attempt to make... Oh, no, I'm going to have to go back. What kind of lapel mic and or filming solution do you recommend for someone who's back? Anytime he would like to have a discussion with me about, maybe some advice or some help or something along those lines, I am more than happy to oblige. I have not been asked. I don't want to get presumptuous. I haven't actually been asked, but if I am asked, I am more than happy to share the benefits of my acquired knowledge of doing YouTubering. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so that is job number 157. 157. In the progress of designing a vertical mount for the Blue SCSI. Cool. I've actually just finished making an entire range of mounting brackets for the Zulu SCSI. I can't do all of the Blue SCSIs yet because I don't have a version 2 yet. I've still got version 1, but I don't have a version 2. I will probably keep using version 1 for most of what I do because most of the computers I have really don't benefit greatly from that increased speed. And there's no doubt about the fact that the version 1 is incredibly cheap to produce. So, Mike, hello there. Off to work. Oh, that's no good, really. Have fun. Adrian Black got a box to get a CRT TV working again with PAL NTSC CCAM signals. There are no signals of those anymore, are there? Oh, it certainly aren't around here. We're a PAL country here. 768 by 576 pixels. Non-interlaced. It's progressive. So I'm scrolled up again. I've got to scroll down again now. There we go. Eric is here. Um, Blue Scuzzy was said I felt it in the force. It was indeed. It was indeed. So I was just saying that the customer of this, what is it, the Mac Classic, said they want to keep this hard drive, but they want to put a Blue Scuzzy in as well. And I was just saying that this can be done, but I'll have to make a Scuzzy cable with an extra plug in it, and I'm going to have to find somewhere to mount the Blue Scuzzy. I'll probably build something that maybe clips over the top there. So I'm actually working on a whole range of mounting brackets for both Blue Scuzzy and Zulu Scuzzy. One of the issues with the Mac Classic, so this is only a Mac Classic issue, but the Mac Classic has the mounting holes here, right there. Now, if you get a bracket with the mounting holes and you mount it here, it brings the device all the way over here, and this Scuzzy cable isn't long enough to reach. So I've ended up designing a 3D printed bracket which screws in here. It's got two side bits there, and then it comes in, and then it actually holds the Blue Scuzzy itself here at this location, so that then it reaches this Scuzzy cable. So I'm going to be releasing that onto the world soon. That will end up, I know that the place to stick these sorts of things is normally Thingiverse, but I will be putting these on Tinker Different. So I'll be in the resources section when I add them. They're going to be going in there. And as I say, there is a full range that I'm working on of mounting brackets for different computers. I've got a universal mounting bracket. The universal mounting bracket has holes in it for these two, and it actually has another two which you find on really, really old drives. So if you're putting it into anything really ancient. Okay, here we go. Just going to have a look here. I have missed a little bit of chat here. What is your microphone? Okay, what is your microphone? My microphone here this is actually not a particularly expensive one. So this is it here. Yeah. I bought it on, what do you call that thing? Amazon, American Amazon. And it just plugs into my Rode Wireless Go transmitter. That's it there. It's plugged in there. This was actually sold as a unit that was compatible with a Sennheiser, but it's the same sort of plug, so no issue there. And as I say, the main reason why I like this is I can get, because the microphone's so close to my mouth, and if I turn my head or if I'm working on the microscope, what I always found with the lapel microphone was that there were some times when I would be in a particular position and the sound would just get really muffled. This way it's clear all the time because it's always right there. Oh yeah, Mike, the sound on your last live stream was absolutely fantastic. How did you go? You were playing with a little thing, weren't you? Libretto or something like that? I watched a good chunk of the beginning, but I missed the end. I tuned in at one stage and there was absolutely no sound. I assume you were just quiet. And you were looking at windows in Japanese. And I looked at that and I thought, this is getting a little bit too specific for me. I'm not really a Japanese Windows person, so, I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that would get their jollies from watching a live stream with Japanese Windows, but that's not me. Bluetooth boom mic, cool. Oh no, the microphone is still working. Thank you very much. It's one that is still getting occasionally used. There are essentially two issues with it that I'm having to deal with. So if I need to use a lapel mic, I use it. One issue is the clip on it is terrible. The little clip to hold onto the shirt, it's really bad. I need to make another one. I'll probably 3D print one. So that clip is just awful. So that's kind of one issue I have with that. I said two issues, didn't I? But there's actually three. So the other one is that cable is just insanely long. So, I have to tuck it in my pocket. If I'm wearing it and I have to dash around, I keep getting it caught on doorknobs and stuff like that because it's so long. The third issue is that it has an adapter to go onto my thing, so the plug ends up being like that long. or that long, because it's got this great big long adapter that goes into it. So I've got those three issues that I'm having with it, but it still doesn't mean that it can't be used. I can still use it for certain tasks. But I decided, I had actually made the decision quite some time ago that that the next kind of Amazon purchase I would do, I would try one of these out just to see how it goes, because I've been thinking for a while that this could be good for what I do with my live streams. So I did that, and I like it. The only thing I don't like about this is I keep getting the wire goes down my back, and I keep sort of sitting on it. So, yeah. All right, now, in my defence, I was trying to change it to English. Fair enough. Okay, so you weren't, sort of just enjoying the Japanese windows there. Right, so IdeaPad, Lenovo IdeaPad. There you go. Right, so floppy drive restoration work. Floppy drive. Let's zoom in a little bit because I feel like we can get more out of this if I zoom in. There we go. Here is our floppy drive. These are really, really easy to work with. Generally, the first thing I do is I close them. So I've got a video on this if any time anyone wants to check it out if they need to figure stuff. So that goes in. This one goes out, and then then it closes. Once it's closed, we can then take this little black guy off here. This is the thing that actually lifts the head up, and we don't want to lift the head up anymore. We want to do that later. Then we need to take this cage thing out. I never know what to call it, so I sort of call it a cage. Just release that little spring there. Release that little spring there. And then give this a little bit of a jiggle. And it'll just pop out like that, nice and easy. Then we've got this bit on the bottom. One thing I always suggest to people is when you're working on these, when you take these out, just do be careful, because these bend really easily and they don't work as well once they've been bent. I've got a particular pair of tweezers that I use for getting these little black things off, the little black rings, the little black washers. It's a pair of tweezers that you use for plucking eyebrows or something, whatever. And it gets a really good grip on it. There's a helicopter going over at the moment, so I apologise for the noise. See if these will do it. Yep, they did it. So I've missed the start of the stream and a lot of streams before it. I've been away for a while, so we've probably gone over this already, but you don't take on any new repair jobs now. Not really, not sort of. So here's what's happening. I have still got a huge backlog of repairs here. Most of the ones that I've got, they're not just straight recapping, they're actually diagnostic and repair. And some of those can end up taking me hours and hours and hours and hours. I have effectively stopped taking on new jobs just to try and clear all of that backlog out. But having said that, those sorts of repairs make terrible live streams. So I'm still taking on a small number of jobs so that I can feature in the live streams. And I'm generally taking them on from customers who regular customers, so people that send me, sort of constant work, so I'm still taking on a few. Like this is one that came through from Max. So Max every now and again just contacts me sheepishly and sort of says, able to do a repair at the moment? And I'm like, yeah, what have you got? And of course, what he said to me this time was, I have 4 Macintosh SE30s. And I'm like, yeah, bring them on. SE30s I can do in my sleep. Helicopter? I think it's circling. So there's obviously some stuff going on somewhere. Searching for bad people. So here's our floppy drive eject mechanism. I'm sure you've seen these before on my channel, because I've done them before. That's for sure. Yay, backlog. I love how there's a 5-second delay on the live stream. Is there a 5-second delay on the live stream? How do we know it's a 5-second delay? How do you know it's a 5-second delay? Is it maybe because it's the clock? Think of what's actually happening here. Technology, man. 5 seconds ain't bad. Right, so this is the cheese cog here. You can just tell when you're removing it just how soft it feels. It's still in one piece. I suspect this would probably still eject, but you know, you could just feel how soft this is. There we go. Out she comes. Yeah, but it's as far as they go, it's in pretty good condition, all things considered. What's going on? I want to go out and look at the helicopter because he's really close this time. Hello, helicopter. It's all cloudy. Can't see an ice cream truck. Ice cream man is coming! The ice cream man is coming! Okay. Sorry about that. Have my private helicopter spying on your chooks. Okay, just cleaning off the old grease from this. I'm just going to clean up a little around here. Okay. He's back. He's back. Can I get a look at him this time? Can I get out there fast enough? I'm assuming it's a police helicopter. I have this absolutely massive tree in my backyard, like as in ridiculously, like as in can be seen from the International Space Station tree in the backyard, and it blocks a lot of my sky view. So the helicopter could be right there, and I wouldn't be able to see it. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm going to sort this out. I'm going to start getting myself together here. I'm going to need some grease. Which I have somewhere. That's glue. We won't use the glue. Okay, the grease is not in the bag. So the grease is under things. It's usually in this region here. Hey, I found it. Grease. Grease is the word. Going to put a little bit. Come on. Yep. A bit there. A little bit there. A little bit there. Glue is much more fun. Don't know. I don't like its chances of ejecting well after that though. All right. Got that there, and then we need a replacement cork. Now. They're meant to be here. No. Where are they? Yeah, this is definitely a sign that it's time for me to clean here because everything is going missing. So that means my cogs, my replacement cogs, are here somewhere under things. That fills me with dread. We might end up having to move to something else, and then I'll come back and finish the work on this afterwards. I feel kind of stupid. It's really not that hard to just get something when you're finished with it and put it back in the spot that you put it every freaking time. But instead, I decided, no. I'll put it here with this mound of stuff. I do have some other cogs, but they're not good ones. They don't fit terribly well. I'll show you. These are green, you know, because why not? And I pop that in there. They're just really stiff to turn. Yeah, I mean, I can't even turn that. So, that's not good. That's not good. What type of grease is Vaseline okay? Couldn't tell you. I use this stuff here. I just buy this from the local J-Car, but you know what? You could probably use lithium grease, I would say, for the... excuse me. Would probably be fine. That would probably be my recommendation. All right. Okay, floppy drive is being put aside for the moment until I can clean the desk, which is going to happen, I promise. It'll happen. Until I can clean the desk, and then I will... There we go. And then I will put the new cog in. I've still got heaps of cogs. Heaps of them. I've got a little container full of them. I just don't know where they are. Right. Now, on to the next thing. There's plenty to do today. Plenty to do. Crap. It's quite distinctive, the little container that I have the cogs in, so it might just jump out and let itself be known to me at some stage. I might just go, ah, I see it. Right, okay. That'll do. That's enough looking. Derek Witt, good evening to you. I'm currently being spooked by a helicopter at the moment. Circling in the skies above. What am I looking for? I know what I'm looking for. You're going to love this. You're going to love it. Oh, yeah. Who knows what that is? Whoops. Anyone? Guessing time. So the cogs that those green ones are ones that I bought on eBay from an Australian reseller who has ghosted me, actually. I obviously said something that I shouldn't have, and so they don't let me buy anything from them anymore. I tried to buy something from them. They had a CPU upgrade for a card for a G4 that was really inexpensive. I'm like, oh, I want that. And I went to go buy it, and they're like, no, you cannot buy from this seller. I'm like, oh, okay. But the good ones that I got hold of were from someone. I think I may have even done some recapping for them or something. But they were just getting them 3D printed in China and then selling them on eBay. And I just said, oh, I'd like a bunch of those. So he gave me a really good price on, I don't know, I put 20 of them or something. Something like that. Okay, so come on, people. Who can guess what this is? Someone must be able to guess what this is. Got to try and keep the chat active. Anyone? 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 Sideburn Studios, hello there. How can it be worth the cost to have repair service done when you can find a working board for probably a couple $100 on average? If a repair took over 8 hours, paying for service would be... Yeah, it would be crazy. Absolutely ridiculous. You wouldn't do that. As I say, that would be something you would do as a private project, I think, just as something to entertain your time. So in other words, if you're not actually, doing it in your spare time and not billing for it, I certainly wouldn't do it. Someone sends me a board with that sort of damage, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to repair it. I could spend eight plus hours on it and not. I could spend 8+ hours on it and that's why the chat's gone. I think something's happened to YouTube. Are people having trouble messaging? Why would I even ask that? Because if you are having trouble messaging, you wouldn't be getting through. So, hang on. Hang on. I just got to reply to the wife. Okay. Right, so I'm just having a look here. Yes, trouble. Okay, so Steve, Mac84 Steve, has just messaged me and said that there are problems with the chat. And GT, he's having trouble with the chat. YouTube errors sending messages. Worked for Dana. Okay, hang on. We just had one come in. Oh, there we go. There's a whole bunch coming in now. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, it's working again now. Thank you, YouTube. It scared me there for a minute. I'm like, has everyone left? But there are people here. But the chat wasn't working. Yes, everyone appears to be back. So just a massive rush and a roar came through. And the first thing I saw was from Max Button saying that this is a Color Classic analog board. But he's cheating because I think it's his. Says the analog board 3 times. My apologies. I am sorry. This does sometimes happen. Max SE. So yeah, let's think about Color Classic. I have one, and it's called a Performer 250, not a Color Classic. Oh, by the way, if you're ever using one of these and you got the back off, don't touch this. Really don't touch that. It hurts. Okay, we've got our nice shielding going on here, which we're going to have to remove if we're going to have any chance of getting anything done on this. And then we've got these little metal tabs at the front here, which we just sort of lift up, and that will allow us to slide this metal shield off. God, that bloody helicopter. I wonder if they're looking for some bad people. Bad. I'm going to put that up there. Don't want to lose it. Oh, it's not. It's not yours. Okay, fair enough. It's someone's, that's for sure. It's not mine, put it that way. So, a really common problem with the Color Classic is this little group of capacitors around here. You're most likely to have problems with leakage and stuff like that. And another real big problem with the Color Classic is it's massively unengineered for the load. You just see so much heat marks on here from where these things are just getting mega hot. So underneath here, in here, and it's really not good. Got a bit of rust under here, look at that. I mean, look at the discoloration there. Can you see how dark that is there? That's all from heat. Now, hang on. This one, I'm doing, this is being recapped, and I've been asked to do a Mystic conversion on. So who was that? Someone asked me to do a Mystic conversion on this. Not a problem. That'll be fun. Okay, so we've got to get these caps off. I probably won't replace this big one, but I'll replace this one. This one here is also generally a problem. It's the 3316, big fat one. I have a lot of reefer smoke coming out from a shed. You wouldn't be able to see the chooks from up there because they're under the tree. So, yeah. Probably can't even see the shed, to be honest. Oh, dear. Yeah, so sorry about the helicopter noise. I mean, you know, I'm sure the people in the helicopter have got better things to be doing on a Sunday. But they are clearly just circling the area. So they're searching for someone or something like that, or something is happening. They're maybe pursuing someone because they're just going around and around in circles. Right, let's get some of these caps off. These ones here are stuck on with snot. So we've got to release those. Same with these, are all joined together with snot. Let's get some of that snot off. Thankfully it comes off quite easily. Some of that snot is a nightmare to get off. There we go. And recapping guides. Best place for recapping guides. recapamac.com.au. You can certainly find a recapping guide for this one. There are a few I don't have, and that's mainly because I haven't worked on them. I can really only post the guides for ones that I've worked on. And I haven't worked on everything, you know. I've worked on a lot of stuff, but not everything. I've worked on all the different types of LCs. There we go. Color Classic backwards. Backwards. Color Classic backwards. This is not the one that appears on the website. The reason why it's called backwards is because I wrote the voltage before the capacitance. So typically when I do a guide, I always put the... Oh, the wrong one. This is the analog board. Typically I put the capacitance and then the voltage. But in this one I put the voltage and then the capacitance. So it was just to remind me that I'd done it backwards. So this is the one that I'm doing. This one. And this is the analog board, and there are quite a few caps to replace. I definitely need to up the price on doing these, don't I? So let's start with this slot. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 here that we're going to remove and replace. So let's start, shall we? Yes, we shall. Let's shall. I did not get a notification. Consign it. Yeah, it's nothing I can do about that. That is just the joys of YouTube. Hint for which area of this board would be suspect when the left edge of the picture is jittery. Asking for a friend. My friend is the Color Classic. Left edge of the picture is jittery. Oh, there's so many things that could be. You know what the truth of the matter is? I am hopeless when it comes to CRTs. Useless. I would rather not work on them at all. So I'm probably not the best person to ask. There are some good CRT people in some of the groups. You could maybe get onto something like Tinker Different and check. There are people there that would know about that stuff way more than I do. I'm just cleaning up and recapping here. So sorry I can't be of more help with that. Need to find a proper smart person, not a pretend smart person like me. All right, let's start getting these caps off. Here we go. It's always something, isn't it? Sometimes it's my neighbour revving their car. Sometimes it's a noisy chicken. And today it's a helicopter. Beyond my control. It is beyond my control. Okay, there's one cap, and this one is, I think this is 1016, let's just check, 470.25, yeah, it's that one there, it's this one, that one there, right, okay, oh, who was asking me the other day? I know who it was Max. Max, you still there? I forgot to send you the link. This is the LCR meter that I have. It's a Reed R5001. I don't know if that's one of the ones that you've been looking at, but this is it. As you can see, it looks like a multimeter on steroids. It's a whopper. It really is a whopper. And we've got all these things. So, yeah, this is the one that I've got. The reviews on it were saying that people were having problems zeroing it. I've never had that problem, so I think that was just user error. So, yeah, and I just picked it up from Amazon. Max the other day was asking me about my LCR meter, and I couldn't for the life of me remember anything about it. Right, let's keep going with caps. Ha! Enzo, good on you. Kai Wheat's KM601 digital multimeter. I'm actually reviewing another Kai Wheat, or couple of Kai Wheat's products coming up in the not too distant future. They've just released a soldering iron. Very curious to try it out. It does have removable tips. They're going to be sending that to me, and I'm going to give it a try, and I will be giving, as with all my reviews, an honest review of that soldering iron. But I thought it made sense for me to review that. It's very relevant for my channel. I think this is 1010, yes. Yeah, when I saw that they had it came out, I said, oh, I wouldn't mind giving it. Do you know how many of these people have bought from the link in my channel? It's something like 160 or something like that. It's some obscene quantity of multimeters. Greg Brady is here. Hello there. I am doing well, and I hope you are the same. I've got some lovely snacks to have when I finish this live stream. That's all I can think about at the moment. I've got these beautiful dumplings that I'm going to be eating, and I'm really looking forward to that. So, food is joy. Food is joy. Yep. I made fried chicken for dinner last night. Nice little artery blocker. I have my own sort of KFC recipe that I have refined over the years to make what I consider to be as good as, if not better, than the Colonel's. And so I had that last night. It's not an everyday food. Oh God, look at the snot on that. Oh, actually, I'm starting to smell some capacitor leakage here. So I think we might be heading for some fun. What's your secret to frying chicken without making a bloody mess? Well, one thing that I do is I generally use wings. So they, they not as much meat, so they cook quicker. That is one thing that I do. But having said that, I'm having a lot of trouble finding chicken wings the size of chicken wings these days. They all seem to be the size of turkey wings these days. That sort of size seems to be what everyone's aiming for, when in actual fact I would much prefer, certainly when you're frying, to go with a smaller piece of chicken. But here's what I do. Have I undone the wrong thing? I've undone the wrong thing. So just, yeah. Here's what I do. That one I think is a bit leakier. That one definitely smells a bit. What I do is I pop them into the fryer and I fry them up for about a minute, maybe 2 minutes. So just enough time for the coating on the outside to get solid. And then I will pop them into an oven at about 180 degrees C, or is that I think it's 350 F, something like that. And I will let them sit in there for a good 5 minutes or more, obviously depending on the size of the chicken. So that's then, they've come out of that heat and then they're getting heated on the way through. Then I take them out and then I drop them in for another fry, just to make sure that outer coating is super crisp. So 3 cooking methods, ultimately. An initial fry to get the coating all sort of together in one piece. Then oven cook, and then a fry at the end, just to get that coating all nice and fry friendly, happy. So that's what I do. It may not be the best method, but it's a method that I use and it works quite well. For all the fried chicken aficionados out there, oh God, how close is he? I'm going to go out and have another look, see if I can see him this time. Feels like he's right on top of me now. There I see him. Whoopsie. And it is definitely a police helicopter. It's got the flashing blue and red lights. Okie dokie. So, yes, I should actually mention the Kaiweets KM601 digital multimeter. It has been mentioned before. It is a very good digital multimeter, and it is a budget digital multimeter, which, of course, we're all looking for budget things these days, aren't we? We're feeling the pinch. Everything's so expensive these days. Ooh. Some bubbling going on there. I dare say there's some leakage under this one. Let's have a look. No, a little bit. Yeah, that's not too bad. 3316. These are the ones that I ran out of just recently. So I've got new ones now. I remember who this board was for. It's for Tristan Merritt. He's very active on the groups. I'm sure there'll be people that have heard of him. This one's definitely juicy. Yeah. Yes, I'll just put this under the scoperoonie so you can have a quick squiz. Can we just say hello to the chickens very quickly? Chickens. Hello, chickens. Okay, scope view. The one sitting down on the right-hand side, that's the blind one. Oh. What's going on with my scope? That's not what I'm looking at. Hang on just a sec. Need something white. It must have fruit. There we go. That's white. Okay, I think it's not happy. Switch him off and on again. Came on for a second, then went away. There we go. See the juiciness there? Definitely got a leaky cap going on there. That's where the smell was coming from. It's this guy, so he's another one of the 3316s. There are, I think, 3 3316s on this board, but two of them are tall, skinny ones, and one of them is a short, fat one. We don't capacitor shame here. Why is Australian Eastern Time and not chicken time? Chicken time. As far as chickens are concerned, there are only 2 times, daytime and nighttime. It's one thing that people may not know about chickens, but they cannot see in the dark. They don't have those parts of the eye like we do. We have parts of the eye which sees for daytime vision, was it the cones and rods or whatever they are, and we have parts of the eye for nighttime vision. And when we see our nighttime vision, we generally see it without colour. Well, chickens don't have that. They've got the daytime colour. They can see in colour. They can actually see in more colours than we can. They can see into, I believe it's into the ultraviolet range. Yeah. Today is Learn About Chickens Day. So I'm just trying to find where these pins are. That's those two. I was learning about Australian poisonous trees before, thanks to Jay, who sent me a link to a video about a guy who was in Queensland. And he was deliberately brushing up against a gimpy tree. I don't know if anyone's heard of a gimpy tree before. A gimpy is the Australian Aboriginal Indigenous word for stinging tree. And there is actually a place in Queensland called Gympie, where the famous Gympie muster takes place. And I have to say, watching that video of that guy stinging himself, well, with a Gympie tree, looked unbelievably painful. The things we do for large subscriber numbers. Chickens are ultraviolet. Violet. Chickens are ultraviolet, actually. They're pretty horrible to each other. Just cleaning up some of the excess gunk here. Just checking to see that the chat is still working. Last time it went quiet like this, it had stopped working. So I hope it's still working. It could have just gone quiet because boredom. So I'll tell you what I did last night, right? Was it last night or the night before? One night. I don't know. I think it was the night before. I had gone out to dinner with some very good friends. I had a lovely time. Gone home. Oopsie. And wife was pretty tired. She said, I'm going to bed. So I said, I'm going to stay up for a little bit longer. Had a few drinks. Feeling pretty good. Life's nice. Sat down and watched Doom. The movie Doom. Didn't get to the end, but I watched a fair chunk of the movie Doom. And it does give an indication to the levels of my inebriation that as I was watching that film, I was thinking to myself, this movie is a gem, an absolute gem. This is a masterpiece. There is so much, clever, subtle stuff in this movie. I don't know why more people don't love it. So that's, as I say, it's just an indication of my levels of inebriation. Just occurred to me those cogs are probably on the floor somewhere. The ones that I was missing from earlier. I'll have to have a hunt afterwards. Because we had a vaguely egg-shaped fireplace on the back porch, and they would go in there to lay eggs. Not Dune. Doom, DOOM, with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Carl Urban. With egg prices so high, more people should have them. Yeah, look, they're a pain. I mean, one of the things I have to do this afternoon after I've done my live stream is I've got to get in there and clean out the coop, and that ain't a fun job. That really isn't. So there are definitely downsides to it, and they can be very noisy. In particular, one of them we've got here, it thinks it's a rooster, and it's just so noisy. Right, so I'm going to replace the caps in here now. So 16, 16, 16, 16. All right, so we'll start with the 16s. I'm going to just I bought some more caps the other day. I'm going to put them where they're meant to be. I do like being able to have lovely fresh eggs. I really do. It's a wonderful thing, but it does come at a bit of a cost. What was that cap Steve, are you still in the chat? What was the cap you were talking about you needed for was it the TV? I think is it 125? Is that it? 125? You might be better off using an electrolytic for that, because these bigger tantalums are bloody expensive. So just forewarning you. These are in these little thingies for putting in machines. So the machine can actually take the component out as part of the manufacturing process. I do not need that because I am doing all this stuff manually. There we go. Okay. 43 people watching. Hello there. Just a little reminder, if you do have a spare moment, if you wouldn't mind.
Smash that like button.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Okay, now let's start. Sorry, I'm getting distracted here. I'm distracting myself. 50 volts, no. 16 volts, there's some 16s. So we're going to grab two 3300 16s. Oh, I've only got two fatties left. Okay, well that's cool. Two 3300 16s and a 1016 And another 1016. 1016? 1016. Dave is here. Hello there, Dave. Welcome to the stream. We're recapping a Color Classic analog board here, and I've also had a request from the owner for me to do the modification so that they can turn it into a Mystic with a 640 by 480 resolution. Thank you for smashing it, Michael. I do appreciate it. Have you ever had to completely recap a CC analog board? Yes, I've done, I think, virtually every cap on it except for the big fat one. It's not cost effective. Put it that way. It ends up with the board being like, I don't know, $150 or something to recap or something like that. You know, by the time I factor in my my labour and the cost of all the caps, it is so expensive to do. But I have done it. One time. Okay, 3300. Let's just make sure I've got this around the same way as I have the board so that I can see all the polarities. 3316 is a positive that's that way there. I just find it quite interesting that the capacitors have got a label on them for negative, but the printed circuit boards always have a label on them for positive. Does that strike anyone else as being kind of silly? Videos and SE30 reloaded boards. Cool. Ah, that's right. That's an old capacitor. That can fall off. What was that? Oh, that's a new capacitor. You can't fall off. I need you. Well, the helicopter's gone away. Maybe they found their bad guy. For anyone who has just joined, we had a police helicopter just circling around above our heads here. And I'm assuming that they weren't after me, because no one's come and knocked at my door or anything like that. Geez, we had the emergency services here earlier on in the week. Our poor neighbour got themselves pinned under their car. So we had all of the emergency services here, ambulance, fire, police, the whole lot. His car had rolled down the driveway and pinned him under it and crashed into the side of a house. Not good at all. I think he's still in hospital, actually. Bowls SC30 Momos arrived from PCWay, and I'm psyching myself up to desolder the components from the old boards and make the swap. It's a fun job. Again, that's something where I would say to people that it's not something that anyone could potentially set up a service to do. You know, it's not like I would ever say, hey, you give me your blank board and I'll move all the components across, because it is such a big job to do. You would end up having to charge so much money for it. It's a good hobby project. It's a good fun thing for people to do, you know. So. Okay, just keeping an eye on the chat. Sorry, folks. Just I'm going to make sure I don't miss anything super important. Okay, 1000 microfarad, 16 volts. He goes this way around. El Positivo. And he goes this way around. There we go. Positive, 1016, 1016. I do love these Panasonic caps with the gold stripes on them. They have gold. And some of them are blue and gold. Some of them are black and gold. They look really nice. I mean, you know, still a capacitor, but, you know. Worth saving an SE30 for sure. I mean, I've spent ridiculous amounts of time on SE30s. I have mentioned this several times during my live stream, so I apologise that I keep going on about it. But I actually have 3 SE30s at the moment. It was not my intention to have 3, and I probably will end up selling one. But I love them. I really love them. So I've got one of them that's just loaded up with RAM, and that one, I'm not sure. I'm just trying to remember all the specs of all these different ones. I've got one with a network card in it, and I've got one with Bowles grayscale conversion on it, which, God, I'm glad I jumped on that opportunity, because that was something I thought he was just going to punch out heaps of them, and they would just be readily available, but apparently there aren't any more. So the fact that I got in quick and got one of those, I'm just so happy about that, because it is just the coolest thing, having a grayscale SE30. Sorry to other people who don't have them, do want them. I do apologise. But it's just so cool. Let's now move to 10 volts. God, I hope I still have some of these. I'm sure I bought some more. Yeah, I bought some more. See if it turns. 50, 35, 10 volts. So I need my 5600 10 volts. There's these little fatties here. And these are the ones that lie down on the board. They're the lazy ones. I eventually want to do the grayscale cards on my SE30. Yeah, I mean, did anyone see that there's someone selling one at the moment? And they're asking for, I think, $1,000 or over $1,000, but they're selling it without the neck board. So, because the grayscale conversion, the one that originally came out from Micron, I think it was Micron, they had the display card board, which goes in the PDS slot, and then they had a replacement neck board. So you take the old neck board off and put a new neck board on. And what happens a lot of the time when people are stripping these computers down, they pull out the card, but they don't realise that the neck board was part of the upgrade as well. So then these things end up getting passed around, on-sold, whatever. And there's a guy selling one at the moment saying, oh, it doesn't have a neck board. He said, oh, but you can get this, you can get the neck board from Bowl for $200 or something like that. And I'm sort of thinking, if you're going to be selling that thing for, over $1,000, wouldn't you just buy the neck board and sell it as a complete unit? That would have been the logic I would have used, but I'm sometimes a bit weird with my logic. That's wrong. Did that wrong. Plus on the right side. I nearly put in a capacitor backwards then. Wouldn't I have felt a wally? So apparently the main reason why Bowl has stopped releasing those grayscale cards is that he can't get hold of one of the chips or something. That's what someone told me. Now, admittedly, I didn't get it straight from the horse's mouth. This is someone telling me by proxy. So I don't know that that is the case, but that's certainly what he said. He said that he couldn't make any more because he couldn't get some of the parts. Triple J, JJJJ, hello to you. That is a radio station that I grew up with, Triple J. Don't listen to it much anymore because it's a radio station designed for the youth, and I'm not youth anymore. I'm an old fart. True or false? Jay would say, I'd love a full collection of Beige Macs. I'd say that's false. I would say that is false. He has a collection of Beige Macs, though, but it's my understanding that he has made some arrangements with someone to take over ownership of that beige. That's my understanding. I could be wrong, though. Okay, we've got some 25, 35, so that's the 10. Oh, there's another 10. We've got 1,010 here. 1,010. Shush, chicken. Well, we know that this particular person, we're not going to mention any names, but we know that they don't do much stuff, do they? Okay, 1010 volts. So that is going positive there. Oh, that bloody chicken. That chicken is such an asshole. I hate doing analog boards. I'll be very, very happy when I get to that point where I can just be selective and say, nope, not doing that. I thought it was very subtle. So, what have you got there, Jay, just to remind us all? Because, I mean, there was a time then when you had them out, but I think you've sort of put them away into storage or something now. You got hold of... There was a 2FX... It was a Mac 2, but it had a 2FX board in it, and that one had a massive crater of burning in that. And you did an amazing job, I thought, of cleaning that up and sorting it out. Don't know if you ever got a chance to test it, though. And I love when I hear that chicken. Let's see if we can see. I'll show you which one it is, the noisy one. It's the black, is the biggest black one there. Look at these pigeons eating food out of the feeder. It's like chickens, that's your food. Protect it. Come on, man. So on the right-hand side there, you got a little white one, then you got a black one. The black one's just sort of moving at the moment. And then there is a larger black one drinking from the water right now. The one drinking from the water right now, I'm pretty sure that's the one that was making all the racket. Totes full of beige keyboards. Oh man, I wish I would. Keyboards, what keyboards? 2X, 2FX, and 2s. Yeah, 2X is the one I still don't have. I still don't have a 2X. I've got 3 Mac 2s. I've got a 2FX that doesn't work, and I don't have a 2X. So, lot of space in my basement and garage, yeah. And that person won't have a lot of space. Right. Sorry, I'm just getting totally sidetracked here. You can tell that this is a recapping job that I don't really enjoy doing, can't you? Because I'm just moving at a glacial pace. 25 volts. How about that? Yeah, 25 volts. 25. That's 35. Don't give me that crap. What about that? Is that 25? Yay! Found the 25. Oh, joy. Oh, joy. Right. 25. We have 2 470s. 1, 2. Have a 2CX to fix. Yeah, the 2CX is one that definitely needs fixing. The 2CX is just, it's one of those boards that the moment I see it, I go, bang, 2CX. Because it's got this little row of, what do you call them, surface mount electrolytic caps. I think there's like 3 big ones and 2 small ones. And they're just aligned on the board in a row. And so you can just immediately see them. But yeah, 2CX is a computer that I really like. I like it as like the partner to the 2CI. I like the 2CX and the 2CI as 2 computers that came out, you know. 2CI had built-in video, 2CX didn't. Yeah, kill. Do you feed the chickens and pigeons the same food? I don't feed the pigeons anything. They frickin' just take it. bastards. um, okay. I put it this way. The pigeons in this area are pretty freaking healthy. Right, so this is a 470.25. We've got one going here, positive on that side. And we have one going here on the other side. So that one is positive on that side. Thank you. Paid $40 for it. That's a bloody good deal. You would never get one for $40 in this neck of the woods. I mean, you might if you got really lucky. I have mentioned this on my live stream many times before, but I ended up getting my 2CX by doing a swap with someone. I had two 2CIs and no 2CX. And there was someone else who had two 2CXs and no 2CIs. And it just seemed to be a really, really good, mutually beneficial arrangement. That person sent me their 2CX and I sent them my 2CI. I even sent it in the original box too, because I had an original box of 2CI, and I hate boxes, so I was very happy to be rid of it. Ugh. Unblown battery was removed. 2CX stuff. Yeah, got to get those batteries off. It's delightful when if you're getting hold of a computer and you don't know what's inside it. It's like Schrodinger's computer about the Schrodinger's battery, and you've got the computer, you haven't switched it on or tested it yet, you just only seen it from the outside, so you don't know what it's like, and then you open it up and you find the battery's fine. It's just like, it's a wonderful feeling. Right, so we did the 25 volt, now we've got to do a 35 volt. Sorry about all the old man noises. 35 volt. We have a 1035. Wow, running a little low on those. French fried pigeon. Ew. I've never actually eaten pigeon, I have to confess. I mean, I know a lot of people do. They call them squabs or something like that. I can't remember. But, oh, look, there's a spider. Jay was asking me if I could get bitten by something on this live stream, but I said to him, it's not a good time for getting bitten by things. It's cold here at the moment. It's the warmer weather where you get bitten by things. 1035. There's a plus minus. That one is this one. Is it the software or the hardware? You know what? I can certainly speak for myself, Paul. Hello, Paul. That it is a combination of the two. For me, because, if we talk about, say, it's something like a Mac SE, or a Mac Plus for that matter, I switch it on and I hear that chime, that bong when it switches on. And then when you see the smiley face and then the system loads and you've got that black and white screen and everything like that, little 7-inch black and white screen, well, it's definitely the hardware there that I'm enjoying there, because that's the nostalgia associated with that hardware. But then at the same time, sitting there and playing an old game on it or running an old piece of software. I actually did desktop publishing on a Mac Plus. Can you believe that? On a 7-inch screen, I was actually doing page layout using Quark Express. 4 megabytes of RAM installed on the thing. And doing page layout on Quark Express. Just extraordinary. You just wouldn't. I mean, it was at 512 by 384 pixels or something. Crazy. Yes, I definitely think they play equal parts in the nostalgia. With this Quadra 840 AV, sort of working on that, even though the Quadra 840 AV is such a nightmare to work on. Just plugging in new bus cards and stuff like that and getting everything set up, and then once you get it all set up and working, firing it up and playing an old period specific game, See, something like Quadra 840 AV runs Myst really well. And Myst, of course, is a type of game that launched an entire style of gaming. They became Myst-style games, and I've got quite a few of those that I like playing. I've got one that works on like PowerPC Max. It runs really well on a like a 604 PowerPC, or it runs beautifully on a G3. Crackle of the old CRT. Dave was here before, and I kept going. The inside joke there is that I don't think you even work those hours anymore, do you, Dave? But you used to turn up at the Mac Yak show just as we were getting ready to finish. So it kind of became like, if Dave's turned up, it must be time for us to stop. Them's the days. Okay, what have we got now? I think there's only... Oh, well, crap. Well, I hope that didn't used to be something there. What's happened here? Have I removed something that shouldn't have been removed? I have. I'm going to have to find it. I mean, I assume I removed it. I've got a photo of this board, so I can check that, but I'll just check and see if this was something that I have inadvertently removed while doing this work. If that's the case, the thing will be here. I've just got to find it. I'm just going to check. Jobs, few jobs. Where are we? There we are. Nope. Can always rate it from my board. It's an inductor. There's an inductor that is not there. I'm just going to worry about it later. And I'm just wondering whether I did, yeah. So I've removed an inductor by accident. So let me just see if I can find it. It's almost different. Oh, is that it? Is that you there, little Mr. Inductor? He looks like an inductor. Yep, there he is. Crisis averted. I feel stupid, but, Love hi-fi equipment from the 70s, yeah. Gut Bomb, I am in exactly the same boat as you. And the Colour Classic is... Oh, someone at the front door. Just a sec. Oh, that's all right. My wife's just got home. So the Colour Classic is a really good example. When the Colour Classic came out, I loved the look of them. There's this little colour computer, tiny little colour screen. It was super sharp, and it was... I just absolutely adored the Colour Classic. I thought it was an amazing computer. But it was very, very expensive to buy, and really an emotional investment. Colour Classic wasn't really a practical computer to have. Massively underpowered, tiny weeny little screen. I mean, what do you use it for? I mean, it wasn't even a 640 by 480 resolution screen. I was like, what are you going to do with this thing? So there was never any thought about owning one. But once you get to the point that the price comes down on these, I picked up mine, I think for about $250 when I bought mine. It doesn't work at the moment, unfortunately. But that can be remedied. You have an opportunity to own something that you really wanted when you were younger, but either couldn't afford or couldn't justify. I mean, the very first Mac that I bought with my own money, I think I got a few hand-me-downs. I had a few Mac Pluses and stuff in the day, but the very first Mac that I think I bought with my own money was a Mac 2 that I bought in 1992. And it cost me $3,500 second hand. And, I got a lot of use out of it. Yeah, got it in. Oh, thank you very much for that, Jay. He's just put in the... No, it wasn't the police. Wouldn't surprise me, though, with all that helicopter stuff going on before. They might have been doing a door knock or something like that. But no, it is my wife that's just got home from her lunch. There we go. What is it? 1 o'clock. That was a brief lunch, wasn't it? What's all that about? All right, so the inductor that I removed in error is back on the board, so we can feel happy about that. So that gives me one more capacitor in this little cluster, and it is a 100 microfarad 100 volt. Here's my 100 volts. This is a little bit easier to get to. And I think there are a couple of those on here. 2 100s. So these seem awfully big. Where's the other one? We'll take him off as well. 100. He's there. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, I see. It's a tall, skinny one that I'm replacing it with. Yeah. These are my last 2. I'm going to have to order some more. What a poop. First Mac I bought for myself was in 2001 iBook. Cool. Hello, chicken. It's a little white chicken just here. Hello. Positive on that side, negative on that side. Even though this cap is a little fatter than the original, it still fits in here. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hello. Hello. Yeah. I know. You're a very healthy looking chicken. Very white, and your comb is very red. Very healthy looking chicken. It's the smallest chicken in our flock, and she cops a lot of crap from the other chickens. Because, as I mentioned before, chickens are assholes. She shouldn't be on this side of the fence. Probably need to clip her wings so that she doesn't keep jumping over the fence. She's very small, so she can get quite high. Color Classic is the perfect blend of my nostalgia for the Performer 575 from school and the Mac Classic at home. The other compacts are mostly for case aesthetics. Yeah, so I, it really does depend on people. So I was never much of a fan of the bigger all-in-one units, things like the 575, 580, those sorts of Macs. They never really did it for me in terms of the design. A lot of people will agree with me, but that's just how design is. And of course, the other thing is that I was a very young, sort of impressionable chap. I left school when I was 16 years old. I had my first job was at working in a shop, just as a, what do you call it, sort of salesperson in a shop. And I worked in that for about 6 months. And then I worked for a company that serviced or maintained software for schools, mainly libraries. So, and unfortunately that company went broke very soon after I started with them. Now, no, I am not the reason why they went broke. Basically, they were going broke without me. They got some financial information or something and decided to hire someone, but then they found out later on that the financial information they got was wrong, and they were actually running at a terrible loss, even though they thought they were making a profit. Don't know how that happened, but that's what happened. So I didn't work there for long, and then after I left there, I got a job just as a junior at a pre-press place. And by this stage, I was already a Mac person. I was already an Apple person. Had an Apple IIe at home, and I liked Macs, but I couldn't afford one. Wish I had one. And I started working at this, pre-press, which is that's the step after design, but before print. They had a design studio in there as well. And they were just all Macs in there, and they were all using. They had an SE30 there with a big single-page display attached to it. They had a 2CI. I think they had a 2X. So they had a lot of these old Macs. They did have a 2FX at one stage as well. At the time, I wasn't working on the Macs when I first started, but then eventually I was. I was working on the Macs entirely. And just, I guess being that age and your first proper job and using all of these computers, I definitely got very nostalgic about it. So there was one time when I was doing a job on the side for someone. The company knew I was doing it. I was very open about it. I was helping someone design a board game. So they had come up with an idea for a board game, and I was helping them design the packaging for it. And we'd done the whole thing. It was the words that were on it were silk underneath. The words were made up of like silk letters, and the background was all red, red velvet. So it was meant to be like red carpet or the red. What do you call those things? Curtains, in a theatre, that sort of thing. And it required so much power to do what I needed to do. I couldn't do it on the Mac 2 that I had. So each weekend I was taking home a Quadros 660 AV from work. So I would take that, in the car, and I would take that home, plug it in, go in and work on this project, which is just, the size of the files was massive for the time. Nothing these days. You just wouldn't bat an eyelid. Thank you very much to Falcor. Super chat of $10. Thank you very much. Do appreciate it. Put this towards chicken feed. I can use it. Chicken feed and cat food, because since we got two new cats recently, our cat food bill has just gone berserk. We've now got 4 cats. It was never our intention, but crikey. Blue, hello there. What's your view on consoles running on a central computer? Are you a fan or too old? So do you mean like a mainframe type thing and then having dumb terminals attached to them? Is that what you're referring to? How did I know that would fax you back product brochures? I called that every few months and I had them fax all of the new ones back to me. Cool. So yes, thank you very much for that, Falcor. Very appreciated. Yeah. One of the things I love about dumb terminals is the design. A lot of those early dumb terminals had these amazing bubble design about them, like an all-in-one type thing, futuristic style of them. The other thing I love about dumb terminals, if you get them working and if you've got a computer you can connect them up to via a serial port, you can still use them today. If you have a computer, it could be a modern computer, and you have a terminal interface for it, you can just, you can plug in a dumb terminal and you can actually end up using this, 1970s piece of equipment to type commands onto a modern computer, which I think is just kind of fun and cool, the fact that you can actually make them work. It's not my thing. I don't collect those sorts of things, but I do like them. I think they're kind of cool. I love stuff that has very much a style about it in terms of vintage computing style. So, for example, I love the Commodore PET, those ones that flip open at the top, with the board underneath, and that have that sort of angular side. And the reason why I love them so much is because they were the future. They were the futuristic thing. They appeared in TV shows and stuff like that, because if they were doing a science fiction TV show or something like that, they would put a Commodore PET in there to make it look like the future. I love that, just absolutely loved it. Shows like Blake 7, if there's anyone here old enough to know what Blake 7 is. I'm pretty sure you will have found PET computers in that show. And so I love the stuff that has a definite style about it. And that's, of course, one of the reasons why I'm a big Apple fan, because I think they were one of the most, I guess, stylish computers. It's 25 volts. I've lost my 16s. Where are my 16s? We're going to get this done. We're going to get this done, okay? I mean, I know there's not a lot of evidence that we're going to get this done, because I am just talking about vintage computers, but 3316. 3316. There we go. Yes, and the litter. Good grief, yes. And now we've got a little black chicken coming to say hello. Hello, black chicken. This one is a little bit of a mixer. I think it was a cross between an Australorp and a... What's your other half? I can't remember. A mix of another chicken. Very lovely nature, this one. This is a very nice chicken. Oh, wow. Look at the heat. Look at the heat. I don't know if you can see it. You can see all the darkness around that there. That's the heat. Okay, let's replace that capacitor. This is getting replaced with a 3300 microfarad 16 volt capacitor. Good quality one. Oh, now the SGI, yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's things like the Indy and the other one, the Indigo, and what was the other one? There was another one I can't remember. Terrible. They were actually one of those computers that I thought, oh yeah, I'll be able to own them one day when when they're not super expensive anymore. But they've just become so friggin' collectible. You just have to consider yourself incredibly lucky if you manage to get one of those for a decent price. But yeah, that was always my feeling, was that because I lived through a time, a lot of people here did. I'm not saying that I'm sort of older than everyone else in the world, because I'm not. I'm only 50. But I lived through a time when Apple really looked like Apple was going to go, was going to fold. And, there was just that feeling that Apple's days were numbered. This was in the 1990s, about 1990, I guess 95, 96, something like that. And it was a very genuine EFA. Is that okay? Is it all right? Is it okay? EFA? There was this time when it generally did seem like that Apple might actually go under. And I remember at the time sort of saying, well, if Apple go under, I'm not going to Windows, no friggin' way. So I was thinking, I'll see if I can move across to Silicon Graphics or something like that. Shut up, chicken. Before the berry color bubble computers. Yeah, I mean, and this was one of the things. This is the impact that those computers had. I mean, I remember once going into a newsagent's to buy a magazine, and I think I bought a Macworld magazine, and on the front cover was a G3 bubble, and the guy actually said something like, are they any good? And of course, it's a pretty difficult question to answer, because it's like they're Macs. It's like if you're a PC person, it's not like you're just going to replace it with a Mac. Trying to explain to people that don't understand there is a difference, that like, oh, I love the look of that computer. It's like, yeah, but you do know it's a different operating system. But I was just this is something I was commenting on recently. I mean, when Apple have done these transitions in the past, they did a transition from Motorola into the PowerPC chips, and then they did the transition from the PowerPC chips to Intel, and then more recently they've done the transition from Intel to the Apple Silicon. And I have to say that having gone through all three of those transitions, this latest one is definitely the smoothest I've ever seen. The transition from Motorola to PowerPC was pretty horrendous, and it took a long time before we started to see the benefits of that as users. Because there just wasn't enough optimized software for it. The transition from PowerPC to Intel was a lot smoother. That one, in terms of, how well that one went, it went quite well, and there were, virtually immediate benefits for the users. The Apple Silicon transition has definitely been better than all of them. And as someone who has recently bought two Apple Silicon Macs, the only benefit, the primary benefit I've seen is just way more speed, and that is not what happened in the early transition to RISC when we went from Motorola to PowerPC. You didn't just get one of those new computers and go, "Wow, this is so much faster than the old one." You just didn't get that at all. Whereas here, I mean, I replaced the computer in here. I mean, this thing barely breaks a sweat while I'm doing this live streaming. The old one used to be every single CPU maxed out to 100%. My software isn't working on my new Mac, and they purchased a PC Blueberry clone instead, not an iMac. Oh dear. And of course, that was a massive turnaround for Apple going into the iMacs, and then of course keeping on going with the G4 iMacs, and then when the G5s came out. I mean, again, people may not even remember this, but when the G5 came out, it was the fastest computer you could buy at the time. Apart from supercomputers. If you're talking about a consumer level computer, it was the fastest thing out there. And I used to talk to my PC users about how fast this G5 was, and they were just blown away by it. That was a fast computer. So that was a dual 2 gigahertz, the one that I got. I got that in 2003. Does that sound right? 2003? That was one really blazingly fast computer. And then, of course, the big thing for Apple, the two big things for Apple, three big things for Apple, iPod and the Apple Store. I mean, who would have thought, that Apple would end up becoming the largest music retailer in the world? I mean, when the Apple Store, what is it called, iTunes, or the iTunes Store came out, and that just changed history. The idea you could go to an album, you could just buy 4 songs off an album instead of having to buy the whole album. That was a huge thing that happened there. So it was the iPod and the iTunes Store, and then of course the phone, the iPhone. That was a life changer. That was a society changer. And every time I'm sitting there in the car and I'm watching someone cross the road with their face buried in their phone, thinking, "You are silly," I just sort of think that's, a few years ago you didn't used to see that, but now you see it everywhere. You see it every day. So sitting on a train, everyone's got their face buried in a phone. It just didn't used to be like that. When I used to catch the train, some people were reading magazines, some people were listening to music on a Walkman or something like that. But now you go on a train and just everyone's face is buried in a phone. It's just been, society changing that product. If Apple stops selling Macs today, iPhone, iPad and TV will keep them afloat easily. Yeah. I really hope they don't. I do like the computers. I'm getting nowhere. Look at me. I've just been sitting here chin wagging for ages. I've got to get some stuff done. I'm going to do some stuff. All right. So I'm going to change a couple more caps. I'm going to probably change this one, and this one. And I think that'll do us. I think that's enough of the dangerous ones, I think. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, cool. Let's get this finished, shall we? I apologise. I want to apologise to everyone here who's watching and who's just saying, "God, does he ever get anything done?" Sometimes. How long have we been going for? 2.5 freaking hours. I've got stuff to do. Shut up. I assume you're all hearing that chicken. Cap fell out. Ow. Bernie's, hot Bernie's. Shut up. This is a big tangent, isn't it? I think it all started with, the question about the vintage computers, and I can talk about that forever. I can just go on and on and on and on about it, because it is one of my passions. Yes. What do we got here? We've got a 220-35 and a 470-35, both from the 35 bin. Oh. God, that chicken pisses me off. Just pisses me off no end. 220, 470. I am running low on caps. And I sort of haven't worried about replenishing some of these supplies because I'm sort of not really taking on a lot of these anymore. These analog boards, I've mainly just been replenishing the tantalums and stuff like that. Shut up! What is... I swear if that chicken knew how much chicken I eat, it would shut up. Sorry. Wonder if Australorps make good eating. There we go. We're getting it done. We're getting it done. We're nearly there. And depending on how energetic I'm feeling, I still do have stuff that I need to try and get done today. Going to try and get a little bit of filming work done on my next pre-recorded video, because it is the pre-recorded videos that get me all of the subscribers. You know, a funny thing always happens when I do live streams. I lose subscribers, believe it or not. You know, oftentimes when I'm seeing the day line of subscription of the subscriber numbers, it dips on the days I do live streams. So people are subscribed to my channel, then they might get a notification I'm doing a live stream. They might start watching the live stream and they go, oh, "This guy's an idiot," and then they unsubscribe. So my live streams are sort of like a backwards thing. It's good for the viewer hours though, and of course it's, you know, at least the people who are tuning in, I guess, are enjoying it. But it is a funny thing to see on the subscriber numbers, because I do fairly sort of eclectic stuff sometimes. Someone might subscribe because they've seen a video on the soldering, or they might see a video on the ultrasonicking, or they might see a video on 3D printing, and then, you know, if they get a notification and find that it's something not related to the reason that they actually subscribe for, they might then unsubscribe. Out comes the cap. This one is 47,100 volts. Prefer the live streams. Yeah, it is a primarily financial thing though. The pre-recorded videos, they are the ones that are better for, as I say, for the subscriber numbers, and they are better for the channel income. I think that's it there. Now, for anyone who missed the beginning, I am once again going to do the little plug for QWERTY. QWERTY, relatively new channel sponsor. Oh, look at this. Got $2 from I Love Scotch. Picked up a PA RISC HP 712 pizza box computer. Well, you're going to have to educate me on that because I've got no idea what that is. So, yes, just mentioning QWERTY, QWERTEE. There are links in the description and a discount code. It's where I get my funny t-shirts from. My funny comical t-shirts. They've got a great range of shirts there. The service has always been excellent. And so if you're after a t-shirt, check out the link in the description. There is a discount code where you can get $1 off, or £1 off, or €1 off, depending on where you are, and you can get yourself these awesome, funny t-shirts. Lots and lots of big range there, so do check it out. Oh, thank you for that. Thanks, Joe. Live ones are fun. That's good. I like the idea of fun. Mind you, I feel like this one is really dragging on today. So we're going to keep it moving. Anyone seen any good movies lately? Always interested in if anyone has seen any good movies, because I'm just interested in good movies. There are, unfortunately, oh god, it's the last one. It's the very last 47100. Frangipani. So next time I do a color classic analog board, I will not have enough capacitors to finish it. Okay, 47100. Yeah, always just interested in movies. I watched a movie recently that I thought was quite good. It was called The Grey Man. It starred Captain America and Ryan Goose. And it was quite good. Yeah. It's not brilliant, but it was pretty exciting all the way through. I don't know if anyone has seen The Grey Man. So Oppenheimer, yeah, it was a blast. Good on you. Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Oppenheimer, very much so. Pope's Exorcist, steady pace but pretty good. Really, I thought it was going to be crap. I do intend to watch it. The wife the other day said I wouldn't mind seeing that, and I'm like, yeah, I like a good scary movie. I like the scares. 250 volt. Now, I don't have many 250 volt caps, so he probably doesn't have his own container. He's probably part of another container. There's 200. 6.3. Oh, ow. There's some knee. Where would that be? I mean, I know I have them. Where would they be? It's 50. Is that? What's that? 16. What's that? 250. Look, it does have its own container. I told lies. It's only got 2 caps in it, but it does have its own container. So that is 10 microfarad 250. The gates. Yeah, I'm curious to see the gates. It's got an actor in it that I really like. The Gates. I haven't seen it, but I do intend watching it. Jay, you recommended that to me the other day. I can't remember the name of the actor, but the reason why it mainly comes to mind is he was in the movie Doom, the one with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson that I was talking about earlier on in the live stream. He played the part of a really sleazy character in it. But his probably biggest claim to fame, he was the White Walker King in the, what's that, Game of Thrones show. He got recast in the, later he had a scheduling snafu. He couldn't reprise the role for the last couple of seasons. So he was the one with the bald head, one with the little spiky things on his head. That was the actor that played that part, and he was good in that because he was a non-speaking role. And, you know, a non-speaking role is hard because you have to act with all the things that you aren't using. You've got to act with your body, you've got to act with your face, and of course he was covered in makeup. But he still, I think, did an amazing job of that character in that movie, just with the expression and stuff. And then later on he was recast, and he was recast by like a stand-in or something like that, or something like that. I know he wasn't a proper actor, and you could tell he didn't do the job as well. So sorry to the person who wasn't an actor. Got all these opinions, haven't I? Of Aussie movies. Too long. Long Weekend, Patek, and Road Games. Don't know those. Yeah. Okay, I'll have a look at those. Because one of the good things about this chat is that all of the text from the chat actually gets stored on this computer at the end of the live stream, so I can always go back and look at this stuff and go and get all the names. So, the last good movie I saw was Tetris. Really enjoyed that one. Me too. That was a fantastic film. It's in a very similar sort of vein. It's not as good, but it's still a very good film. Do check out Blackberry. Okay? Blackberry is the story behind the BlackBerry, and it was really, really entertaining. So, yeah, I recommend if anyone has not seen that, I think it's on one of the streaming services. I can't remember which one, but there's a movie called Blackberry, and it's about the history of the Blackberry, and I found it very, very entertaining. So do check that out. Patrick, okay, don't know Patrick. Indiana Jones movies have physics according to Looney Tunes Roadrunner cartoons. Yes, they do. Man Lab. Need to get a quick hot air station. Yeah. What's the hot air station you've got, Jay, from the House of Moth? It's cheaper than the Quick, but it's just as good. There's an A in it. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah. So do check that out. If I were to be buying again, I would not buy the Quick. I would buy this other one. One of the features that it's got that this one doesn't have, it's got the ability to blow cold air. This one, it's either hot or not. Aten, that's it. A 10. That's the one. Right, so now, do I finish now or should I do the conversion? Should I do the conversion on this? It's a pretty quick job, so let's do the conversion, eh? Yeah, let's do that. I need to grab something that I just put away. I need to get my Dremel for this. And I will, of course, need to put the video of this up because I haven't memorized this process, so I'll actually have to have my video in the background, my Brankus Creations video of doing this mod, because, yeah, I don't remember it. YouTube. Oh, look, I'm streaming at the moment. Let's go and have a look at that.
So you think you know?
Oh, it's an ad.
Do you really? First up, we've got
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. It's quite a delay, isn't it? Okay, so let's have a look now for Mystic Mod. Yeah, so as I say, if you're going to be buying a hot air station, have a look at the price of that. Look, if the Quick is cheaper, the Quick's great, but I'm pretty sure the A10 is cheaper, and I'm 99% sure they're the same guts in them anyway. Remember to smash that like button. Thank you very much for that. Mystic Mod. I might have to put the word classic in there because I'm getting all sorts of game stuff here. Mac Classic. Oh, it's just Color Classic, isn't it? Never mind. There we go. Color Classic Mystic Upgrade. Look at that.
My name is Bruce Rain from
Brankus Creations. That's me. Jeez, I'm good looking. Right, let's check this out. Right. So the first thing we have to do is we need to isolate. We're going to do it. We're going to do it, people. It's going to happen. I need to 3D print the little... I've made legs for these so I could set these up straight. But I don't. I broke them, and so I then redesigned them so that they wouldn't break. But I haven't 3D printed them. I must do that. So that is where there's the little holes here. I need to isolate this one here. So let's get some scope action going. And we'll go to Scopy. Scope view. Yes, I recommend staying away from the ones that have the blower in the handle. As I always say about hot air stations, a cheap hot air station is better than no hot air station. So if all you can afford is a cheapie, it will still allow you to do things that you can't do without one, right? So that's what I generally say about hot air stations. But if the funds do allow it, go for one with the blower inside the main unit, not the little... You can tell the ones that have it in the handle because they've got like a little bulge in the handle there, and that's where the fan sits. They just don't blow as hard. So let's go... Okay, so what we need to do is... Sorry about the angle here. Oh, dear. Okay, so this here we need to cut where I'm doing my little scrapies. And we're going to do that with a Dremel. You can't see it very well. I'm just going to push this back a bit. There we go. I just don't want this to fall off. All right. Let me just... hang on a second here. That won't be a sec. Charlie's here. Hello there, Charlie. Fantastic. Yeah, I know those little all-in-ones. They're a good, cheap option. Soldering irons, the most important thing with those, I think, is making sure that you can get plenty of heat out of them if you're getting a soldering iron. And I do like the T12 tips. So they're those removable tips, and they get hot really quickly, and they're very, very replaceable. So if you damage one, or if it gets corroded, or it's no good, the rest of the station is perfectly fine. You just get rid of the tip and put in a new one, and that's the heating element in the tip itself. Hacko iron, yeah, that's what I've got the FX951. The only thing I don't like about the FX951 is you can't connect their solder tweezers to it. You can't connect the genuine Hacko solder tweezers to this base station, and that's annoying. It would be really good if you could do that. Dremel. Now I'm pretty sure, yeah, I've got a grinding stone in this one at the moment. Need to swap it for, and I'll repeat that, for my little grindy thing. Where the hell is it? I was using it just the other day. Remember, that's right, I was using it on the Quadra 840 AV live stream. That probably means it's on the table here somewhere. You know what that means, don't you? So I've got to find the freaking thing. Oh no, I just put it in the wrong place. Yeah, found it. It's okay. I just put it back into the wrong little thing because that's me. I just do that all the time. I'm not paying attention to what I should be doing. Right, so apologise in advance for the noise coming from the Dremel. It does make a bit of noise, so... Yes, this is the speed increasing one. So I'm going to set it on 8, and we'll just listen to it slowly get faster and faster. There we go. Let's see how we go. Might need to do a little bit more tidying up, but I just want to clear away some of the copper so we can sort of see where we're up to. Yep, still got some copper in some of it. Let's just see. Nearly done. What if I just start at 10? Okay, there we go. I think that's good. We can do the rest of the scalpel. Yep. Well, we're going to have to give this a good old clean because we've got this covered in copper now. Is that enough? That is the question. Do we consider that that is enough? Beep. Looks pretty good. What do you reckon? I definitely think we've cut that successfully. That looks cut to me. Yeah. I'm just going to dry it. Though I do have a video on this. You can check it out. And on the video, yeah, I've got a close-up of what I'm doing, but then I've also got up in the top right-hand corner an indication of the task that I'm actually doing. I'm just going to put some UV mask on here just to make sure all these little exposed areas of copper are insulated. You ought to be insulated. Sorry, I'm just referencing an old Australian TV commercial that no one but an Australian of the same vintage as me would understand the reference. You ought to be congratulated. Right. Let's get our laser and just dry this up. My 11-year-old is asking what you're doing. I've already had him use a soldering iron. Yes, well, just tell him I'm breaking things. It's probably the best description. Oh, I'm getting a visit from a chicken. I can feel the pitter-patter of tiny talons. Do the chickens have large talons? Can't understand a word you're saying, boy. Okay. Just scrape some of this off the actual pin because I need to solder to it. Right, next step. What are you working on right now? I am working on a Macintosh Classic, Color Classic analog board that I am converting from the standard original, was it 512 by 384 resolution, something like that, into 640 by 480 resolution, so that we can put a what do you call them things? We can put an LC 575 board. Geez, that's a thick wire. Probably don't need that thick. What's this? This is 7.5 amp. That's 15 amp. 7.5's got to do it, surely. Can't imagine I need 15 amp for this. Yeah. So that we can put an LC 575 board into it and turn it into a Mystic Mac. Now, Why Mystic? Well, that's with the code name of a computer that they were apparently going to release, which was going to be a 6804 powered Color Classic, but it never eventuated. So it got a code name, but it never got made. Lots of things glow under UV light. I left my wire strippers up in the house, so I'm wire stripping with a scalpel here, which is not ideal, but it works. Alrighty. Okay. So I've now got to solder this onto this. And I'm going to do my normal thing when I'm doing this sort of thing. I'll get some solder onto the wire first. If you're wondering what that noise in the background is, it's a chicken. What are you doing, chicken? Ow. Wire's hot. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're really starting to annoy me. Right, ow, 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 ow. Okay, so this goes here. Ow. And then he goes to there. I'm going to solder him and then trim the end. Come on. Need to get it from the other angle. Spin the board around. Get some focus. There we go. I feel like I'm going to break this scalpel blade, so I might use some snips instead. Some side cutters. Yeah, that was so much easier. Only an idiot would do it the other way. Okay, Paul, thank you for joining. What about the Tachycolor Classic? Nah, never going to do that one. Too much butchering inside the computer to do that. Having to change the connector and all that sort of stuff. I just don't want to do that. So, yeah, not for me. Not for me. I've seen people that do it, and I've seen them do a pretty good job. But yeah, I'm not that obsessed, I guess, because I think it is an obsession for some people, to get, you know, a Power PC into a Color Classic chassis. I'm just going to move this a little bit. There we go. There we go. Tweezers. I'm sort of feeling like I want to lift this up a little bit. Just don't like. There we go. That's better. There we go. Okay, so that is the second stage of the Mystic conversion. And then we move to the next stage, isolate pin 20. How are we going to do that? How do I do that typically? What method did I use to isolate pin 20? Yeah. Oh, I think I just removed the resistor. Okay, there are two different types of board. It'll be interesting to see which one this is. So we've now got pin 20. Is that you, Stace? Oh dear, that was. I really enjoyed the video you guys did at the. What was that thing called? The what's his name? What's that guy's name? Linus Tech Tips thing. That video. Yeah, I mean, first of all, having Vegemite without butter is just. It's just not on. Yeah, the LTX thing. That's just not on. That's no. And then, but yeah, and then of course I noticed it was piled on pretty thick. You know, even we do it quite light. We go pretty light on with it. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I have to say, Dan's reaction just made great content. Great content. So I thought it was absolutely wonderful. Well worth it. And it was just as bad as I was imagining it would be. So, dear. Okay, so isolate pin 20. Here we go. 20, traveling along, and he goes along to this little 000 resistor. So he is just one of those Clayton's resistors, a resistor you're having when you're not having a resistor, because he is just straight through. And we are going to get him, and we're going to heat him up, and I'm going to move him. I'm going to move him there. So I'm just going to tidy that up a smidge. There we go. And so I'm keeping the resistor there, so if they ever want to do the conversion back again, they've got all they need to do that. Where did I put my... Here we are. Here we are. I realised when I watched that video of LTX that I don't know many YouTubers, because it kept on crossing to these sort of content creators and like, this microscope is incredibly fancy. Look, and it's even got the brand name on it. Having said that, this Vivor, having said that, the this head unit is not actually Vivor. This is one that has a camera in it. So, but I've got all kinds of fanciness going on over here. I'm just definitely one of the fanciest people there are. There's no doubt about that. Right, isolate pin 20. What's next? Looking at my own instructions here, and isolate pin 20. Isolate pin 20. Done that. Isolate pin 25, and I think I did that with the scrapey scrape. Okay, isolate pin 25. So there's 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 to S, pin 25 there. So I've got to isolate that now. So I've got to cut through here and here. So we're going to get the old Dremel out again. I need to get a new one of these little cutter thingies, because this one is not as sharp as it used to be. Sorry about the noise. Sorry about the noise. Now remember, folks, everything I'm doing here today is reversible. If at any stage someone decides, no, I don't want this to be a Mystic anymore, which is exactly what I did, because I realised that I needed my setup for testing Color Classic boards. And once you do this mod, the computer won't work properly with the Color Classic board anymore. So you kind of, you get stuck. So, so I had to change mine back again. And I realised that I didn't actually need a 68040 Colour Classic. I just don't really need it. I've got so many other 68040 computers, I can just fire those up. There we go. Okay, looking good. Noise isn't bad. Well, that's good to hear. I guess Dank Pods, yeah. So Dank Pods, I'd heard of Dank Pods. I never knew what he looked like, though. Lewis Rossman, I know. I knew that one. Jay's 2 Cents, don't know that one. Linus, I know. I know that Miami guy, that Luke Miami. I know him. I mean, not personally, but... I think probably the most famous YouTuber I know, and when I say know, I mean it's not like we're best buddies, but I can communicate with him if I want to, is, what's his name? Crazy Ken. And of course, it won't be long before we're saying this about Sean from Action Retro. Goodness me, that guy. Talk about channel growth. Puts us all to shame. I loved the tiny microphone. I don't know where you got it from, but it was awesome. Didn't sound too bad either. Yeah, and the other thing about Sean from Action Retro is he is just a lovely guy as well. He's just such a nice person to know. We used to get him on the Maciac show a fair bit. Might have to try and get him on to Startup Disc is Full, which we will be firing up again soon. Startup Disc is Full is my other channel. Had a little bit of a hiatus, unfortunately. It's all Jay's fault. But we will be starting that up again fairly soon. And we've got some exciting stuff and some not so exciting stuff as well. So I'm using UV solder mask and I'm using a UV laser to cure it. So it's going all rock solid. I was going to say hard, but I thought, no, that's all the connotations associated with people saying hard. I've had the pleasure of meeting Lewis Rossman in person at his shop in Austin, Texas. Was he friendly? What's the difference between this channel and your other one? So this channel, the other one is sort of like a talk show style thing, where we talk about tech, just talk about tech. So it's usually just three of us. That's me and Jay and Dana, but sometimes we have guests on. We've had 5. I'll just put in a link to it so you can have a look. I mean, it's an experiment more than anything, just to see. But we were doing the Maciac show for a long time, and we were feeling a little bit restricted with the format of only talking about Mac tech stuff. And I ended up just sort of saying to Jay, you know, because I had actually had discussions with Jay about this, you know, about sort of the idea of coming up with topics. And I was sort of like, you know, I'd like to have a show where we can just talk about just anything tech. And he was like, yeah, I'd like to be part of that as well. There you go. Well, I'm going to put it in here anyway, so anyone else who hasn't seen it can see it. There we go. And we've had some fun with that. So they're pre-recorded, all except for one. We did one live show. I think, was that the Gadgets one? There we go. Let me just have a look. It'll be filed under live. Yeah, Collecting Vintage Tech. So that was the live show that we did. And that was a lot of fun. So we actually had chat and everything like that. And I'm working on builds for a Windows XP LAN. Bruce felt a little burned out, so we're taking a break. Yeah, like he loves to blame it on me. Oh dear. But look, it's a pretty easy show to make because it is ultimately just us doing a talk show style thing with a whole series of topics in front of us, and then I just edit it, so I just tighten it up a little bit, and then we usually then have a few outtakes because I always get the giggles when we start doing the show. So you just sort of we have all the outtakes of me trying to record the beginning and go. I think that might be it. Let me just check. I'm just going to have a look at the video here of the work that I'm doing at the moment. So we've isolated pin 25. Oh, and now I've got an ad. Oh, these bloody fancy YouTubers, well, they're advertising in their bloody videos. Isolate pin 25. Okay, jumper pin 20 to 24. 20, excuse me, to 24. All right, we're doing it. This is it. Where's the wire? Here it is. We're nearly done with this. I promise. I mean, I keep saying that, but we really are nearly done. Is that a bit thin? Yeah, that's a bit thin. Let's get a thicker wire. Okay. So this is an enamelled wire, so it has a coating on it. But that coating can melt off quite easily, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. When I say quite easily, it's like really hard at the moment, but never mind. Gonna get a little bit of flux. Yeah. Invite Dan on it as much as Dan loves Apple stuff. We're super into tech. Yeah, I did actually invite him in to be on one of our shows once, but he was concerned that he wouldn't be the best sort of guest for the topic we were doing, which is on gadgets. And the irony is that we realised afterwards that who we should have asked to be on the show was Steve from Mac 84. And he's been reminding us of that ever since, because it's like, who can we get onto the gadget show? You know, get someone who likes gadgets. And it's like, Steve bloody loves gadgets. Why the hell didn't we choose him? Felt like absolute idiots afterwards. I do anyway. Yeah. But the next show we're doing, we are actually having Steve on as a guest, assuming, of course, he can still make it. He may not like us anymore. We asked him this a long time ago. We're doing a We're doing a show on digital archiving. So that's, you know, sort of scanning old documentation or storing old discs, that sort of thing. So archiving stuff, you know, where do you store it? You know, what sort of stuff do you store? Those sorts of things. Checking to make sure if someone has already done it. You know, there's no point in archiving something that's already been archived. And we're planning to do that at some stage. Soon. I promise. Soon. Right. But we've got stacks of ideas, you know, loads. We've literally got a spreadsheet just full of stuff that we want to do on the show eventually. So. I asked Dan. I did ask him. And he was like, no, I don't think I'm your guy for that one. So there you go. An old scanner to scan old photos of Winnipeg and archive them. Were you guys anywhere near all those horrible fires that were happening? You excuse my lack of geographical knowledge of Canada, and I know it's a bloody huge country, but I know that there were all the smoke from the fires wafting down into sort of mainland US. But I was just curious about how you were in relation to that in terms of the geographical location. Where I live is an area that is often quite badly affected by bushfires. We're not in line of the actual fire, but we're close enough so that we can get smothered in smoke all the time. Time for me to go. See you, Triple J. Thank you for joining. I've nearly finished here too, by the way. I think this is the last step. I will check. I did know that your dad was an antique dealer. I think there was a video on it once. I think Dan might have done a video, and you're actually wandering around in the shop. 2024. That's it. I think that's it. We're done. All right. Okay, so that is one Mr. Conversion complete. This will, of course, need to be tested, but I'm feeling fairly confident about it. I'm feeling about a 7.5, I suppose. But everything's going to be fine. Oh, crap, I don't... Oh, no, that's all right. I was just... here. His website is like straight out of 1994. One rule that I believe, saying concerning digital archiving, always keep a working analog copy of whatever you are archiving. Yeah, but then you got to keep an analog copy. Yeah, I know, that was crazy, the distance that you drove for that. I mean, that's each way. So that's like, what, getting close to 5,000 kilometres. That is a bloody long way. You're madman. Madman. Hello, chicken. See you, Joe. Thank you for joining. Yes. Oh, God, look at 3 hours and 12 minutes I've been going for. I better wrap things up. So, just a quick little recap here. So, what we did today was I put on the capacitors that I wasn't able to put on last time. For an SE30 that I was working on before. Had a quick little inspection of an SE30 with some terrible battery damage, and pretty much made the assessment that although it is probably repairable, the amount of time invested in it would not really be financially viable. I would probably end up having to charge like $1,000 for it. It's just not worth that much. So we got Retro Techie is here. Hello there, Retro Techie. You're a bit late today. What's going on? Why are you so late to the live stream today? That's just... Or maybe you're still upset about what Mike said to you yesterday. Wasn't Mike said something horrible to you yesterday? He was saying hello to everyone and he said, like, piss off Retro Techie or something like that. I thought, that's a bit rude. There's a chicken under the table. What are you after? Oh, Jesus, calm down. Hello. You setting up a nest or something? It's not the best spot. Hello. But anyhow, thank you very much for joining Retro Techie. I do appreciate that. I'm afraid you're right at the fag end of this thing. I'm about to finish, so... Whoop. Hello, chicken. No. Chicken doesn't want to be touched. So, yeah, worked on that SE30 that I nearly finished in the last one, but I wasn't able to finish it because I didn't have a capacitor. I ordered the capacitors in, and then I put that capacitor on today. So that one got finished. We then inspected the SE30 with the battery damage, decided it's not worth fixing. We started working on a floppy drive resto, and I couldn't find my replacement cogs because they're under this mess, and I felt like I had already spent enough time searching for things on this desk. So I'm going to do that another time. Actually, as soon as I finish this live stream, I'm going to try and find those freaking cogs. So then that's a floppy drive. And then we did a recapping of a Macintosh Color Classic analog board and a Mystic conversion to it. So this will now give us a 640 by 480 resolution. So we can stick an LC575 board into it with no other mods, and it will run as a 68040 Color Classic, which is fun. And I'm looking forward to testing that out. Had to deal with a problem with my kid, unfortunately. Well, that's no good. So that's we did get a lot done in those 3 hours, but I did take rather a long time to get this one done. I probably should have had time to do more, but I just started talking about vintage tech and stuff like that, which I do. So, thank you everyone for joining. I really do appreciate it. We had quite a few viewers here. We're still sitting on about 30 at the moment. But once again, if you haven't already, please smash the like button. If you like my silly t-shirts, please check in the description. There is a link to QWERTY, the company that I buy my t-shirts from, with a discount code. Good, fun t-shirts. I wear t-shirts every day, so I need lots of t-shirts, and I like to wear a different one every day. because, I'm not gross. So once again, thank you to everyone for joining me. Thanks for keeping the chat lively. Thanks for keeping me company while I was doing all this work. So have a good one. Have a good rest of evening or what day or whatever it happens to be in your neck of the woods. And I will hopefully see you at the next live stream. So thank you and bye-bye.